Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcast, Rafa Sparza. We are doing a fight companion for UFC 255. If you're too cheap to buy it, I totally understand. Listen, these things get expensive. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm not going to show you the fight. That's not what we do here, but I'm more than happy to go ahead and narrate what is happening, because what does happen on these things is they charge you a ton of money. And yes, if you want to go somewhere else, that's perfectly fine, but we'd love you to stay because we make it an interactive and fun thing. So do not go anywhere. Chill. Ask me questions. I'll give you some play-by-play. We're going to get together and we're going to cheers those folks who end up getting fight finishes. And if you give us a like and a share on Facebook, we will give you a toast just like the fighters who get fight finishes. That also extends to our good friends over on Facebook who also give us a subscription on there. So that's the rules. That's how easy it goes. We already want to say thank you to our friends Megan Johnson, Christopher James Velez, and G Baby, who have already gone out of their way to give us some love and appreciation. We have Shogun, who is entering the cage right now, taking on Paul Craig. This should be a very, very fun night. I see Jordan Jitsu's joining us. Let's go indeed. Six shirt. Yes, this is my good friends, the Areola brothers. They have a gym out here in Orange County, the Areola Brothers Wrestling, obviously playing on the old school NWO, and very much appreciate them sending this on out to me. Even though they are okay people. I wouldn't say they're the best people, but they're okay. That's actually a better way of putting it. So I'm going to ask you guys who are in the comment section before we even see it go. Who do you have winning this? Do you have Shogun or do you have Paul Craig? Chime in. We're also about to go live on our Instagram right now. This is UFC 255 main card, and we're going to do the whole song and dance for them as well. So I'm going to make sure that we go live and we give them a nice and proper introduction. But feel free to tweet us. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcast, Rafa Sparza. We're watching UFC 255. Join us. Grab a beer. Sit back. Relax. We have a long night of fights ahead of us. As you see, Paul Craig going straight into the center of the octagon, staring deep into the eyes of Shogun in a very awkward way, because Shogun has his back turned to him and is actually kind of dropping it while it's hot, which is the weirdest out of context sort of picture you can imagine. Shogun doesn't even have time to look at Paul Craig. That's how interesting that dynamic is. And it says, Shogun has been winning rematches lately, so I'm going for him. Paul Craig has been pretty good on his rematches as well. And you did note here, Christopher James Velez, Shogun doesn't look as good as Joban. Yes, they were both born on the same day. So we made mention of this a little bit earlier. What's up, Shango? What is up, Papa Roach? What is up, Lauren Christina? Earlier today, we said Alan Joban and Shogun are the same age. So take a mental picture of the Disney prince in your head and then look at Shogun and tell yourself, are they the same age? And the answer is an obvious no, they are not. I cannot believe people actually will believe that that's a real fact, but it is true fact. They were both born, I believe, on November 11th. Let's just say that, 1981. Christopher James Les chimes in and says, I'm going for Shogun in my heart, but I got Craig in my head. Well, pick one. Pick one. It's either heart or head. Craig coming out very quickly, going with a few kicks, and Shogun just kind of swatting them away. He is the center of the octagon right now. Shogun does not look in his best of shape. In fact, Shogun looks even older for the wear, whereas Paul Craig has a perfectly painted on kind of beard going on his face. I see Dam and I see Craig right here, right now. So thank you for giving us that pick. It is about the time. And we are backed up by one Ben Folks who says, imagine you take the trouble to walk all the way across the cage to stare at your opponent and he never even turns around to notice that you're there. Accurate description there by our good friend, Senor Ben Folks. Meanwhile, back in the cage, Shogun is trying to walk him down. Paul Craig not flinching an inch. In fact, Paul Craig almost inviting it. Shogun a little off on the range there. Not quite 100% on with these strikes, but that's kind of where we're going thus far in. 3:47 left on my clock. Hopefully that's about the same place you are. Paul Craig just kind of stretching out to see if he can get a high kick, and he does not even go too far there. Instead, he rushes for a takedown. getting Shogun off his back now. So we're going to see him put in a little bit of that side control pressure. Shogun doing a great sweep to begin with. Paul Craig adjusting, not letting him fully sweep him on over. This is probably going to take a little bit of time. Dane Donovan chimes in and says, which Shogun will show up? That's a very good question. We will continue to watch as we see Paul Craig try to get a little bit of punching in on this sweep attempt. So Shogun very much going for that old school style of jiu-jitsu, but Paul Craig getting in some nice punches to navigate that, trying to duck him down, press him down with depresh, and not getting much off of it. Shogun almost 2-on-1s his way out of a little bit of a guillotine attempt, but instead, I like the control that Craig is using here. He seems to be dropping Shogun, but he might be giving up a little bit to try and get this guillotine choke, as Shogun almost went to just straight into pass, but now has gotten swept back again. This is a great opportunity for either a Darce or for a number of strikes to be put in this position, but Shogun is dead set on getting this sweep. This may be very effective for him, but it also may have nothing to show for it. Let's see which of the two results there. He has a good start on the half guard, but now he's having to eat some of these punches, and I don't know how well he's taken it. His face is very red at this point, and now he's back up and has distance on his feet from Paul Craig. Ooh, but Paul Craig does not want to give him any time to rest. Takes him down, and yes, that does make it seem unfortunate for Shogun that he has to play from this position. This is going to give Paul Craig a huge boost of confidence, if not an over-under grip, which if he plays it well enough, he might be able to get a choke in here. The position that he is in on the fence does make it hard to get in a full grip. Shogun reverses the position, now is on top inside of Paul Craig's guard. Shogun does get to the half guard, is slowly starting to maneuver his way up. Now he's going to have 124 to work from here. Paul Craig very conveniently going inside of the cage, though. So, Dane, we might get a little bit better of an answer to which Shogun is going to show up, because right now we do have a pretty solid base, but Paul Craig doing an excellent job. I can't see if he's in full lockdown, but he's definitely stretching him out. This is an electric chair, which should be enough for most people. He is going to go and extend that, and Shogun is going to start punching. Instead, he's going to elect to use it as an opportunity to sweep him back up. Shogun gets his base back, tries to get in a couple punches here, but if you use that electric chair wisely enough, you can sometimes in jiu-jitsu get a tap based off of it. The harder part is people don't tend to punch you as much in that position. So, oops. 40 seconds. These gents are in an odd position here. Shogun bringing his leg a little bit more dead to center and trying to punch his way out of this awkward control position. And in doing so, Paul Craig and him will probably just end this position kind of in this awkward little moment here. Paul Craig being very adept at showing what he can do in a lockdown scenario here. I wasn't quite expecting that to be the case, but that is what we are seeing with just a little bit of the fight in. We will see the end of this very first round with Shogun getting some good strikes from on top. But Dane Donovan was asking again, which Shogun will show up? Well, we know which Paul Craig is showing up, the one that punches well and gets in some good jiu-jitsu with coverage happening all the way through. All right, a good time to remind you guys, if you love us, give some love to our friends over at No Gi BJJ Gear. If you use the promotional code GRAPPLINGHOUR15, you get 15% off of whatever you put in your cart. Also, give some love to our new sponsors on Verbal Tap. Yeah, I know. Check this shit out. Manscaped. Yeah, right. Didn't expect them to be part of the Verbal Tap fam, but they are now. And they have sent us... Oh, dope. Oh, look. That's cool. Didn't really expect that would be in there. But yes, they have given us some really cool tools. You can use the promo code Verbal Tap. This is the tool that you can use for them. Very excited about that. What is up, Bright Farouk, number 1? Excited to have you join us. We have a very, very interesting night. And it says kind of impressive showing from Shogun on the ground recovering. Absolutely. In fact, it looked like this was curtains getting dumped down 2 times for him, but he did prove to be fairly resilient in some bad spots here. Just as a reminder, yes, we will give you guys some toasts. I already see some folks have shared this video, so I will go back and make sure that we give you guys the proper acknowledgement in between the next series of rounds. But for right now, we remain focused on the action in front of us, which is one Shogun and Paul Craig going into the second round, 4:40 on my clock. Hopefully that is close to where you are. Also, Paul Craig already starting to kind of chip away at that kind of shin on one Shogun here, kicking it and kind of stomping down on it for a little bit of control. Already off to a very good note. It says, on the same level as the UFC, Manscaped is sponsoring the fight. Well, you know, there's one thing we've always said. We're on the level of the UFC. If there's one thing we say on the show, it's that. So anyway, look for some great advertisements or commercials that we cut on the show in the near future. But yes, I already see a handful of you have given us some shares, and that means that you are all in for toast this evening. So it tells me a couple things. Number one, you either love us, which, okay, true. Or number two, maybe some of you guys aren't ordering this one. In which case, we'll still walk you through it. Nice kick to the midsection by Paul Craig. Shogun, already pretty bloodied up in the face region. Though here's the good news. That will even him out with one Alan Joban, who is the same age. Sometimes life just isn't fair there, kids. Shogun really going for that old school sort of leveling out, like hold the hand to the face just so he can hold him there, just so he can bring him one of these, you know? He's one of those guys that are so old, they go, oh, I'm going to give you one of these. That's how they used to call punches back in the day. But as we see Shogun now pushed up against the fence, he's going to have to do some evasive cage work here to get some kind of equal footing to Paul Craig. Paul Craig being very dominant thus far in. Back in that control, he might be able to start working on that choke again here. And he has a second hook. This is going to be very difficult to overcome. He does see Shogun starting to try to get out of it. Shogun maybe not using the best escape out of it, but hey, it does get you there and is already escaping the big brother kind of push there. Shogun looking very old in terms of his reaction time there, man. I did not love how Paul was telegraphing how much he was going to shoot in for a shot, and Shogun had no efforts to even sprawl out on that. And that is what really keeps you alive, or at the very least ahead of your opponent there. I would say it's a little concerning. So we'll have to see how the rest of this round plays out. But so far, Paul is very much walking away with this. Shogun using that 100%, which, by the way, Bellator commentators, is not a new move. 100% has been around for a while. Don't tell a fighter you're going to name it after them just because you don't know what it is. Sleeping on the 10p like that. Again, Paul Craig gets Shogun's back. He has one hook in, and it says, who did you have in their first matchup? Are you asking me now, or do you want me to give you Sven's pick? Because otherwise I'd have to go look in the verbal tap files, and I'm pretty sure at that point we had said Shogun. But now Paul Craig is flattening out. Great hip position. Shogun is turtling up here a little bit. He's protecting his face. This might be enough to get a stoppage here, and he's tapping out. I do not think Shogun was okay. Shogun very much looking like, all right, dude, that wasn't fun. I don't want to keep this going. Well, I know there's a lot to be said about Khabib not wanting to fight anymore. I also don't know what Paul Craig is trying to point and gesture to the audience there. It says tap to strikes. Man, that was a good finish. Yeah, I don't know if he was hurt or if he was just like, dude, this fucking sucks. I don't even want to fight anymore. Why am I doing this? Like, even in slow motion, it looks like, oh, get off me. No. Let's put it this way. When you mention tap to strikes, it is kind of rare. We have seen Royce Gracie do that as well with Matt Hughes, if memory serves me correct. I would tell you that part of it might be that he was just taking that really bad hip pressure where he's like, dude, I'm not going to get out of here. So either the referee's going to just chill and watch me get pummeled, or I'm going to tap and let them know, yeah, no moss here because it's a bad position. First fight between them was a draw. Correct. Eek. But I mean, Shogun, hey, listen, dude, the hard part is when you're a legend, you can just kind of be a legend. So hopefully this is kind of the end of the road for Shogun. I don't know that I really want to see him continue to fight. What's up, Chino? What's up, Jit Us, number 1? But anyway, we were talking a little bit about Khabib retiring and how people were like, oh, that's so good. And it's true, it is good. And Dana White saying, hey, listen, I think he's going to try and go for it. And Khabib going, no, I'm not. The fuck are you talking about? I know you just want to make more money off me, but I'm going to go finish my thesis, which, by the way, nobody is out there hankering for a Khabib thesis. Let's just be very clear about that. Having said that, watching some of these guys continue to fight where you think, I just don't need to see them fight anymore. I don't need to see Shogun fight. I seen him in wars back in the Pride days. What's up, Bryce? Good to see you, bro. It's just not great. It says, I think taps strikes should be more accepted by the fans. Absolutely, man. It's hard to have fans accept that a fighter's ever going to quit there. But I mean, sometimes a fighter knows more of what's going on in their brain than the average human being. So, especially people who are just watching at home. Dana White gets a nice note from Paul Craig on his way out, almost signaling, hey, call me. But look at these shots by Craig. Super well done. But I mean, especially that last one. If they show that second takedown that he gets on Shogun here, I think that's where you just start to feel a little bit bad for him. Boom. Watch. Doesn't even have to run the pipe. Just stands there. And then once he gets the back control, extends him out, hips down, continues to just go to town, and Shogun was just curled up. Let's see what he has to say. Also, we'll do a quick cheers for him in just a second, but I do want to hear what he has to say. It says that oil check, though. Good Lord, Bryce, you would. Of course, Paul Craig starting off with all due respect, saying, of course, he's a legend, man. I like that the UFC cameraman had to actually work around the framing for the UFC 4 video game instead of just focusing on Paul Craig. Let's center it back on him. There we go. It says, sad to see legends' skills diminish and watch them take a beating. Absolutely, man. I think he's probably, at this point, giving credit to his takedowns and saying, hey, that's pretty good for a Scottish guy. Joe Rogan agreeing, yeah, they look pretty sharp, dude. Now get back to my other questions. And Joe Rogan even saying, you looked really good in your control. Walk us through the end. Joe talking about the back mount. And Joe pointing out the very rare instances where you get a tap from strike. And Paul saying, he's always looking for a finish or a submission. And I think he was saying, he's like, I could probably try and look for that rear naked choke, but I just felt more confident in trying to hit them with these strikes. Well, Joe Rogan referring to it as an undeniable victory, which true. And it says, who does everyone like next? Well, let's get that conversation going because I think we're done here. But you can ask that question. I can start working on, I guess, the banner for it. So let's see that posted in the section. I'll give you a little bit of an amplifier here. That's the fight that we got coming up next. So I'll put in the comment section, do you got Caitlin or do you got Cynthia on this one? Question mark. Oh, God. DC saying he's going to give him his due respect on his wrestling in the next one. Eek. Well, that's unfortunate to watch, but it is the fight game, kids, and that's what you have to deal with. It's one of the suckiest parts of watching the fight game is seeing your legends become a little bit more diminished. I see Bryce coming in and saying he's got Cynthia on this fight. I've got Christopher James Velez at his adversary, though, won Chukagian. That's why I like saying her name. Chukagian is just too hard to say all the time, so we're just going to go the way we want to go. All right, they're talking about DraftKings, which is telling you to spend money in case you haven't spent enough money on this UFC pay-per-view. Do you like losing money? Well, go to DraftKings. Unless, actually, tonight, Dan is not doing super well. He was off to a good start. We'll go ahead and give you a reference as to where he was going earlier this evening. I see a note here that says from one Doreen McCain, it says, Cavillo, of course, 10p all day. Yeah, of course. This is going to be interesting. We'll have to see if she's able to pull that one off. But I love the gusto. I love you repping that 10p forever. So let's put this up. These were Dan's picks earlier this evening. I'm going to have to take off the banner so you can see the earliest pick. Earlier today, he said Lipsky, which, correct. Lipsky had a interesting night, to say the least. No, wait, she lost to Shevchenko. So womp womp on that one. Royval, womp womp. We're still waiting on Tim Means and Figueroa, so hopefully things can turn out a little bit better for Dan's picks here tonight. Hopefully he is able to pull off some money for you guys, but he is generally on point. So we always try to get you guys some extra cash. We know the holidays are coming up. You probably need that extra cash at this point. You want to buy your family members some good gifts. You want to take care of you guys. All right. I already saw we had some shares. I will get to those individually, bit by bit. I will start. Let's see who was the first one to share. You're supposed to get the first cheers, I think, by law. Though technically I make the rules on this thing, so I really can just go with whatever rules I want to make up on it. I thought I saw that Woods was the first one to come on in. I might be wrong on this one, but I see G-Baby was actually the first one. Yo, G-Baby was stopping by to say hello, give us a nice share. He's got a comedy performance that he's doing tonight, so much love to our good friend G-Baby. Obviously, if you guys get the chance, go check out his podcasts. I believe it's Unemployed Commentators. That's one of them. And then G-Baby's Cover Your Mouth. Big props to him. And then after we're done here, go watch him do his comedy. I don't know if it's streaming. If it's live, then you missed it. I can't help you with that. But cheers to you, G-Baby. Megan Johnson saying that she will go with Caitlin. Dig that. All right. Very excited about that. But yes, Paul Craig, ESPN notification says he has defeated Shogun and extends his 4-run fight-winning streak right now. I'm also going to make sure that we extend our invitations, our best wishes to everybody joining in right now. Feel free to let us know who you got. All right. In the comment section, if you haven't done that already, we have been off to a fairly successful evening, all things considered, even though, let's see who Sven had earlier. There is some common knowledge here that earlier today we discovered whatever Sven picked the opposite, and you'll probably do okay. Let's see if that held true in the last couple fights. So the last fight was supposed to be Shogun. Actually, Sven picked Craig on that one. And Sven did on this one pick, and this one looks interesting, he actually picked Cynthia. So we'll have to see if he's talking real facts here, if he's just screwing up. Earlier the night, it seemed that anybody that Sven picked the opposite, and you'd win. But eek. Jessica Kaplik says, I want to drink hot chocolate in front of a fire while Paul Craig reads me a story. Ben Folks chimes in and says, same. I won't understand more than every other word, but I don't care. I mean, dude, he's got a good accent, so good for him. All right, we're already at the walkouts, so this is Get in your last comments before you can in terms of your picks. Once we get those in, we will hold you to them. There is no in-round changing of your mind here. I do see in the, what is this? In my notifications. So, okay, can we talk about this? The bots have no imagination because on my notifications here, the people who comment that they don't get blocked for whatever reason, they have the ability to feed through some of these these comments and kind of flag them. But then these comments somehow get through that flag process. And it says 018 myhotsisters.com. And then George Rodriguez commented 050 virtual chat girls online. So I guess the question is, what are the bots actually filtering? Because if that shit's getting in on the feed, what the fuck? So then every time I get these, I gotta fucking, what is this? I don't want to hide the notification. I just want to get it off the fucking show. Boo. Oh, sorry if you were expecting to go to those websites or you put them there. Not really gonna keep those there. My Hot Sisters, let's even talk about that. That sounds like a terrible website to go to. Like, if you're really going to appeal to everybody's lowest common denominator here, being like, you guys want to go to my website? What's your website? My Hot Sisters. No, I'm good. Thanks, though. Wish them the best. Tell them to have a happy holiday, but not really my bag there. And it says, seem like it's turning. Yeah, I think so, too. And it says, Cynthia is the pick. This is the way. Look at you with your Mandalorian nerdiness in my show. JJ Brooker chiming in with the LOLs. I better not see you putting these kind of posts in there, JJ. Boo. Welcome to the show. Happy to have you here and joining us. We're here for a good time, and we're hoping that you guys are enjoying the fights thus far. And we still have 4 left to go this evening. And we're already, I guess, I want to say we're off to a good start seeing Paul beat Shogun. I think that hurts us all and deep in our souls. I would tell you, it did seem like many of you were prepared for this outcome. What's up, Heather? Because according to the poll that we put up yesterday, let me just make sure here. According to our poll that we put up yesterday, a lot of you, I believe, were actually noting that you believed that was going to be the outcome on this one. So let us give you guys a quick little update as to where the final vote stood, and then we can go on to more pressing things. It seems... Oh, look at this. ESPN was saying that the Alan Joban last 15 seconds had sensitive material to see. And yes, James Krause giving up his props to Alan Joban, but definitely not to Joaquin Buckley. So it'll be fun to see what his response to that is as we check that out a little bit later on tonight. What a weird thing to already be immediately, hey man, you had a great fight tonight. Yeah, fuck James Krause. Oh, well, okay. If you insist, dude. Earlier, we did have people vote, and at a margin of 61 to 39%, most of you actually got the Paul Craig pick a little bit more accurate. So you guys were on the money on that one. It does appear on my watch right now that 55% of you, though, believe that Caitlyn is going to win this one over Cynthia. So let's see how this one plays out. We'll walk you through the action in just a second here, fam. But in the meantime, we're glad that you're joining us. We're happy to see you. We are having a blast. All things considered, fight legends dying in front of us. RIP. What a bummer way to do this, dude. This makes us all feel bad watching fucking Shogun get his ass handed to him. But that's what happens, man. Fight game is not forgiving. So yes, we said that Caitlyn is going to be the favorite of the show. What's up, Beast on the Mats? Thanks for joining us. We're happy to have you. Feel free to chime in with your comments right now. Kawaki Kalma says, what do you think women fighters do better than men? Like the WNBA displays more team ball versus one-on-one like the men. Well, it depends. Sometimes the female flexibility is way more impressive for grapplers. It's interesting. And I mean, I think that they're still evolving. We're seeing different elements of it, especially if we watch tonight and you see Valentina do what Valentina does very well. Sometimes you can say it's the striking or the precision to what they do. I don't know that we can really narrow it down to it, just the thing yet. It might be better to revise that to what they do in certain divisions. So it's an interesting question, kind of. We're off to the races, though, on this fight. 15 seconds already taking place. What's up, Kevin Martinez? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Beginning of the fight. Tepid here. You do have Caitlin in the black and Cynthia in the blue. And they're talking a little bit about the element of fighting in a small enough of an arena where you can hear your coaches, where there's no audience, and what kind of difference that makes. Earlier this year, we talked to UFC fighter from Hal Pichel, and Vince was telling us, like, yeah, dude, you could even change your strategy midway through. Kevin Martinez pointed out Alan Joban won. Yay. He did win. And he looked good, man. He was very much in his element here tonight, which was nice to see. A good return to form for him. It was a tough fight, man. He had to really dig deep on some of those parts of the evening. But right now, as we watch Caitlin and Cynthia go at it, you know, first 3 rounds, they're both being very, very cautious of one another. Still seeing a little bit of footwork change from one Cynthia, and it says, poor Shogun, RIP to all the dinosaurs. Listen, that's no way to talk about your elders, young man. Shogun deserves our respect. Kind of. I mean, he does. He was in Pride, man. Like, look at some of those epic fights that he had. It does get weird when you start to do the fight math of how long have they been fighting? Oh, that doesn't look, well, that's not good. Yeah, that's not going to be bueno for anybody here. And you do see Caitlin starting to go a little bit to the body, switching it up, a jab to the body and to the face there. And she's staying out of the range. She like gets in very nicely, steps her way out to make sure she's not taking any damage thus far in. Shango, good to see you back. Good knee over there. Cynthia's so far not really figured out a way to really get on the inside. Not just yet. We have 2 minutes left to go in this first round. And if we're looking at it thus far in, you are seeing a better job being done by Caitlin in terms of mixing it up. Cynthia now starting to press forward a little bit better. Connects on a couple of these 1-2s. And Caitlin going right back to making sure she's chopping at that leg. You see, nice. Again, you do hear the corners coming in very nicely, loud and clear, giving very specific details to their fighters. Look at this. Just by positioning, the way that Caitlin is pushing up Cynthia just to a point where it's cutting off her angles and keeping her very, very limited on what she can pull off from just the way that she's positioning herself. Good return there by Cynthia. The broadcast team referred to that as Cynthia's best strike thus far in. It says Helio Rezendi coming in. Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us. What's up, Kyle Hayden? That's an intense profile icon you have there, young man. DC going off about breathing, which not the most exciting. You can tell they're kind of filling time as well. I mean, here's what's nice. You are seeing Cynthia starting to mix it up a little bit better. I think she found a couple ways to kind of go overhand on some of these punches, maybe finding a little bit better of a home than she was earlier on, where she was a little bit taken by the reach advantage that Caitlin has in this fight. Round 1 finished. Well, I'm going to ask you guys how you scored it. I have a pretty clear idea of where I score that one. I don't think we're too far off from one another, though. Just as a little precaution, we're going to go and give out our second cheers here, because I did see people going ahead and giving us some love right at top of the show, which we always appreciate. Thank you, guys. Just as a reminder, if you give us a like and a share on Facebook, we give you a toast on air, just like we do those fighters who get finishes within regulation. What's up, Luke? Our second cheers, I guess we should say, of the telecast goes on out to Christopher James Velez. Christopher, unlike most people, very, very happy to see a bone get snapped back into place this evening. He's just weird like that. He was the one that was calling for it. He's the one that made the call on the UFC broadcast, and he said, hey, guys, I think a lot of people want to watch this disgusting pop go back in. So cheers to him. What's up, Bulletproof Troop? Little known fact, our good friend Bulletproof Troop, aka Blake, winning a catch wrestling tournament a few days ago. Big congrats to you, my man. I love seeing you do your thing. I've been seeing you get involved a little bit behind the scenes. You're doing, of course, you may not know this, but he does the voice of the Fighters Rep commentary team, one half of that. He always does a very excellent job there, but he is also doing some announcing for pro wrestling. He's doing some play-by-play and color for them as well. Very, very proud to see you do that, bud. Hope that is going even better. I see a note here that says, I feel like I'm watching a Street Fighter match with all the Kais. Maybe. And it said, Chuka Gain got that round. I would agree with that. It would seem like she has done more and been more active thus far in, though you can start to see Cynthia starting to show elements of coming alive right now. So hopefully this levels out a little bit more. Want to thank everybody who's given the nice loves and the little hearts over on the Instagram. You know, that's always appreciated. If you like the show, show us it. We always try to reciprocate that as best we can. Again, this time, though, you'll see Cynthia is starting to move a little bit better. Instead of saying flat-footed and kind of directly in the line of any kind of punching that Caitlin can put, she is moving a little bit better, staying out of the direct range here. And it's going to see what she's going to be able to do, because she did get on the inside, especially with those overhand rights at the end of that last round. So we'll see if she's able to continue that pace. The hard part is you do leave yourself a little exposed when you are trying to rush in on some of those exchanges. So I don't think she wants to eat too much of those punches while trying to get on the inside to go around that reach. And it says, yeah, I mean, Caitlin just landing her jab continuously thus far into the fight. She's being very, very consistent on that. About the halfway mark of the fight right now. Very nice exchange there. Caitlin finding a nice level series of punches right on the button. Yeah. I think now you are running into a similar element where just trying to change the angles, move very quickly. The hard part is every time she changes the angles, she ends up getting like an inside hook. Of course, Cynthia charging ahead. Of course, Kawaka Kalma, very similar to our good friend Kai Kamaka. Earlier said Cynthia, she was the way. So we're going to have to see if that's going to pay off here. It's been very, very much in the majority of the people's eyes right now, at least on the Twitter sphere, Caitlyn's fight thus far in. Yeah, look at Caitlyn just stalk her. She like waits her out, blocks the kick that goes high, doesn't even look like it's going to connect anywhere near her. And again, Cynthia goes in for a shot, does not change the level enough that really makes Caitlyn at all concerned. And again, this was a close one in terms of our poll. We had our people respond in yesterday, and we had 55% of our respondents think the advantage was going with Caitlyn in her direction. We'll see how this still plays out, as it looks like we may be in for all 3 rounds here, guys. Just looking at the differences, though, Caitlyn is ahead 27-5 and 11 just in terms of variety of strikes, but you know, Cynthia's not that far out of the element in terms of numbers. Hmm. 10 seconds left to go in this second of 3 rounds. Now you see Cynthia starting to gesture for her to key and try and hit her in the face. And I think she's, just by look on her face, accomplishing that goal quite nicely. All right, now that we've seen some of those stats, though, does that change your opinion? Do you believe that Caitlyn is still winning? What is up, I3 Eric B? I can't tell if that's supposed to be like a heart or whatever. Either way, welcome to the show. Again, on the significant strikes, it is 23-23 for Caitlyn and 26-15. Fascinating. I'm looking to see what people are saying about this one as we take a moment. Vince Cachero, our good friend, was saying, man, you hate to see it go down like that for Brandon Royval, but speedy recovery to him. BJPen.com just wrote Shogun forever. Fair. I3 Eric B says, I got KC up 2 rounds. I see that. It says, interesting. The first round, Cynthia had more strikes. How do they score significant strikes? That's a great question. I'd love to hear more people chime in on that one. But sometimes I think they get rid of the ones that just look like garbage time, which must be a fun job to be like, that was an insignificant strike. You're 100% on insignificant strikes. But having said that, apparently Christopher James Velez chimes in and says, Caitlyn's second round in the bag. So he's very confident, as is I3 Eric B. All right. Well, if that's where you guys feel, I mean, I think I agree with you guys. It's just amazing to see those stat breakdowns, especially when we're watching the same fight, and yet the majority of us kind of see this as a fight that's going the way of one Caitlyn Chookagian. Christopher James Velez says, Joe Rogan is asking how the strikes are counted. You would think he'd be the guy that we'd be asking, right? Like, if Joe doesn't know, how the fuck do any of us know? I think that's Joe's polite way of saying, who the fuck is counting these strikes? I know how they're normally counted. I've been doing this for over 20 years. But we'll have to see. 3:20 left in the final round. That apparently is confusing people who do stats and even a longtime commentator of the UFC. Vander Gomes, look at you. Coming back for more. Hopefully you are enjoying your fight coverage as well. When do we see you fighting again, sir? We seen you fight back in LFA. We seen you fight in the UFC. Maybe Bellator. No, tell us about it. I know you're always staying ready, man. And I think you still owe me an interview, if we're being honest. So, soon. I mean, I see you staying sharp, man. Every day I see you back in the gym, staying sharp and ready, and that's fine. Good for you, man. Again, stop being good at soccer, though. Not a fan. When I started seeing you, kind of playing with the tennis ball and being able to juggle that with the legs, I was like, I like these codes. I don't know what that means, but it says drop on the pino. Good. All right, 2 minutes left to go. Good kick to the body there by Cynthia. Caitlin responds with a nice 1-2 to the face. And here's the nice part. It is inspiring a little bit of that. Mark Henry's son's name is Pino. Lovely young man. Coincidentally, is also a big Bills fan. He has great taste. That was the drop-in we had there. It says Pinot Giorgio or Pinot Noir. That's fair. I like that you chalk that up to you being Brazilian. Hey, I'm brown too, and we're supposed to also be brown people that are good at soccer, but I'm not that good. I saw you juggling like that, and I was like, dude, I could never do that. Even in my heyday of playing soccer 11 years. Anytime we get a juggling circle going on to try and do something in soccer like that, I was the worst at it. And that's when I realized, I was like, I do not have good coordination for this. I think soccer is going to be really hard as we get way better at it. And lo and behold, it was. So DC is kind of saying something to the effect of how confident one might feel that they can just keep it standing up where they don't even have to really take it to the ground, which at this point, ground doesn't even seem like a major option here. As you see Cynthia coming in to try and make this a real dirty fight, does not get her wish. Instead, they disengage, get back to their feet. Cynthia continuing to press as much as she can. I think she does know she is a little bit behind and that maybe she needs to really just let it all go with just 20 seconds left to go. She is connecting a lot better than she was earlier in the fight, but I don't know that it's going to be enough, especially just by the look on her face. I know it's not a barometer we're supposed to judge fights on, but I don't care what significant strikes are saying. I think the majority of us are seeing Caitlin winning this fight, and we'll have to see what the judges say as it comes to a close. They give a nice acknowledgement, nice hug in the center of the octagon, and they go to their respective corners. All right, fam, how did you score that fight? Tell me before the judges get the opportunity to potentially screw it up. Then after we do that, we'll go ahead and give another cheers acknowledgement to the friends who are watching and sharing. We got mad love for all of you guys. It is already off to a good start. What's up, Richard? I see you, Richie. Richie, are you going to Matt Warriors tomorrow? It'll be very interesting. We always love supporting Boogie. I may do one of these for that. We'll see. We'll see what we're into tomorrow. We have to get Verbal Tap on as well, so we'll be recording that. Anthony Birthchack will join us back again, and he will find out if he has beaten Kevin's picks. One of the very odd times that the two gents only disagreed on 5 fights. Normally, there's a little bit bigger of a split, and yes, Caitlin Shook again does get the win, 30-27, 30-27, and 30-27, which begs the question, what did those can't be significant strikes if it was that insignificant. But I would agree with those numbers, so that is nice to see. We'll have to see what the interview process is for her as she goes in and gets over to the side. What's up, Jit's mom? She did look good. I feel like it says Caitlin wins. Caitlin. And then another note here, split decision because the refs are looking at these significant strike numbers. Well, they didn't this time, so we got a good result. I feel okay with that one. So, Beast on the Mats, where do you get that name from? Did you give it to yourself? Did someone give it to you? I'm curious because I see you show up for these things every once in a while. It's a good name. I just want to know where it came from. Tell us. We got some time, especially as we wait for Caitlin to go do her post-fight interview over on the side. And then we see the worst lit Joe Rogan give her a few questions while we wait for, I think, the highlight machine to give her a second to make her way on over. Oh, but she is all smiles. So it says, I gave it to myself, LOL. Fair enough. Okay, well, let's say this. It says not a good showing. Why did you give it to yourself? I want to know the thought process behind where the nickname comes from. You know, obviously I had to give myself the name of the podcast, so kind of where we were going to go. But I like getting into the mental aspect of it. It's very important to know. What's up, Matt Viper? All right, we're about to go to another fight. It says, I was in high school at the time, and I was thinking of funny names to make for my Instagram account. Hey, man, it works, dude. Was that a misprint on the significant strikes? Because these strikes are very different, and I don't think that was an accurate one that we saw. And it says, and it came off pretty cool, and I just stuck with it. Well, good on you. I think the lighting's maybe a smidge better on Joe. Well, Caitlin referred to that one as an easy win, so good on her. So Joe Rogan's asking, does it feel weird when Mark Henry's throwing out crazy codes? Oh, Joe Rogan tried to do the journalist thing and got shut down. He's like, what's a pedo? And she's like, I can't tell you that, but big smile. So props. Joe was talking about distance and range. How were you able to pull that off? And were you afraid that she was going to be able to close the distance on you? What's up, David V? With the suit on, you look like a realtor. So Caitlin's like, yo, that was a lot easier than our sparring session. So I felt just great with it. And Joe Rogan is saying this is moving you back into the competition for a title shot. And she says whoever wants to fight as soon as possible, she wants that. She says keep putting her as a 2-1 underdog, and she will keep winning. And she did her tonight. Good on her. She wouldn't say what a pino was, but she definitely revealed a grandma pie is just, it's a pie that you get from one on. Oh, but she's dancing out of her way of the interview. Oh, wow. Well, this should be an interesting fight that's coming up next because Mike Perry missed. All right, let's get you prepared for this one. We all know the ridiculousness that is Mike Perry. Tonight, he was supposed to fight, if memory serves me correct, one Robbie Lawler. Robbie had to decline because of an injury, so instead, our good friend Tim Means is stepping up. Great for Tim. What's also good for Tim is the fact that Mike Perry did not make weight. Now, a lot of fighters don't make weight, but it's the particular way that Mike Perry did not make weight that did make it of note to us here. So when he got on the scale, he knew he wasn't going to make weight. He knew he was 5 pounds over. When he didn't make the weight, he literally looked at the guy who was checking the scale and said, not even close, baby. Woo! and then did a dab. Now, I get the idea that doing a dab can be a very ceremonial thing. This is like the opposite of that. So instead, it became like, you ever see in Arrested Development when Michael Cera does the Christmas time in here, kind of like shoulder sucked and like slowly like walking out of the scene? That's what that dab looked like, which begs the question, why would you dab if you didn't make weight? However, there's a part of me that thinks if people did that more often and just own up to the fact, as opposed to doing one of these when they don't make weight, which is always like, no, I can't look, did I not make weight? Maybe we'd have a little bit more respect for them. But who's to say? What is up, Alejandro? Good to see you, man. Says Matt Viper, I always root against Mike Perry. You know, that's a perfectly fine and logical thing. I'm not going to hate on that. There are legitimate reasons to not like Mike Perry. I don't even need to name them. You know what they are. Christopher James Velez says, can't believe he did that dab. I agree with Adesanya. It should be more than 30% of the purse. So every comment, note, DM that people have sent me as if I'm in charge of this has disagreed with the mentality of how we're supposed to fix people who show up fat. Somebody said, well, you're talking about Israel Adesanya. Izzy said, yes, you should give up like 50% of your fight purse, which, yikes. And I thought it might have even been more than that. But it's basically like fighting for pennies, which watch fighters find an excuse not to fight if they're going to fight for far significant less of the purse than they are contracted for. So that was number one. Number two was John Anik put up something that said, you know, I've always thought the best way to take care of this is to make sure that you actually either lose or fight for a no contest. I thought that one sounded fine. And people were like, the other fighter's not going to take that fight. And this came from other fighters who were like, dude, if you gave someone the option to either lose or a no contest, there's no way in hell they show up that next day because they literally have everything to lose. The third note I got, and another fighter sent me, said something to the effect of, and I even told people, I was like, I don't hate this one either, because I think we're all trying to find a way out of this. But it says, how about less than 2.5 pounds, 1 point deduction, greater than 2.5 pounds, 2 point deduction. And it says double for 5-round fights. Now, the double for 5-round fights, I don't understand, because at that point, you're not fighting at all for any kind of points. It doesn't make any sense. But the point deductions, sure. And one of the fighters saw that and goes, big eye response on Instagram. So it seems like there's no popular consensus as to what we're supposed to do when people come in fat, which in essence will never stop people from coming in fat. Because if there's no punishment, they're going to be like Mike Perry and just be like, dab, don't care. It says, like the point deduction, that seems the most fair. You would think. But when another fighter responds to a fighter who I repost, like, I don't know about that, Raph. And I'm like, I didn't come up with these. These are not my ideas. I am merely trying to figure out how the fuck we figure out this problem. And it does seem, no matter what we pick, it will be controversial, which begs the question, is that the reason why they don't fix anything? Because some people wonder, like, how does this problem continue to persist after all of these fights and all of these different organizations? Well, that might be why. So anyway, if you guys have a better version of how to fix that,
don't let them fight.
My wife has chimed in and said, don't let them fight, which that'll go well. Kalma says, nah, come in over and use the weight to go aggressive and KO. Sounds like somebody who would come in heavy for a fight. Suspicious here, Kalma. Suspicious. Well, I think that's the mentality of Mike Perry. This is a weird-ass fight. And let's look at what people told us they thought was going to happen as I put this up to all y'all in the comment section. Tell me who you think is going to win. Do you see this going to Mike Perry, or do you see Tim Means, friend of the show, is going to pull away with this one? It's this IBIS619. Welcome to the show. I see a couple comments already starting to chime in on who they think is going to win. Appreciate you guys coming in. But yes, Mike Perry dabbing on us. Christopher James Velez says Means. Okay. We've already had a few people say that they're rooting against Mike Perry actively. And earlier this evening, Pal, one of the good friends of the show, Danny Huber, told us that you should take the action against Mike Perry on this one. What's up, Aoki? Submits you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying our fight night coverage. If you're watching along, UFC 255, awesome. If not, we got you covered. We'll walk you through it. Kalma also puts in a vote for Means as well. Good for him. All right, let's take care of our next cheers. We got a few more to make up on. Again, the way you get a cheers on the show, you give us a like and a share on Facebook, or you give us a subscription on YouTube. We give you a toast just like we do the fighters who get finishes within regulation. Now this one goes on out to our pal Jordan Jitsu. I don't know if you guys are watching this, but Jordan Jitsu put on an event recently. It was Subspectrum. And here's the nice part. He actually got to compete for the first time in a good while at one of his own events. And not only did he compete, but when he lost via heel hook, he made sure to share it. And I will tell you this, most event organizers would burn that footage. But Jordan's good people. He shared it. I guess that's my way of telling you, go watch it. Because he was able to make fun of it, so we should too. Cheers. Welcome to the show, Them Days. I see a note here. Dirty Bird within 3 minutes. That is bold, my friend. Oh, God. Are we back to that already? Jesus Christ. Kalma said, wait, who did Sven pick? Well, let's find out. Sven put Means. Uh-oh. Yikes for you. But that last fight, he did not pick Caitlyn. He actually put Cynthia. So I think so far you kind of still have to stick to the go against the grain. If he picked Means, things are looking brighter for Mike Perry right now. Do you think, okay, so let's say you don't make weight. Should you have to wear like a scarlet letter sort of a thing on your way to the cage? Like they kind of give you like a temporary tattoo that you got to like shame, and then just kind of like ring some bells at you. There has to be a way to do this, right? Them Days says he's about to eat them extra 5 pounds out of him. Yeah, probably. I mean, here's what I'll tell you. Those 5 pounds would have been significant, a huge advantage to Robbie Lawler. To Tim Means, I feel like this is a gift. Like, first of all, getting the call to take the fight against Mike Perry didn't really sound super exciting to me, but I understand 100% why Tim Means would take the fight. I just thought stylistically it seems like a weird-ass fucking fight. But here we are. And yet, Mike Perry always gets a lot of attention, good or bad. Mostly bad. Wait. This motherfucker walking out to Beyonce's Halo. Oh. Did you say to his tattoo?
It goes with his eye tattoo.
It goes with his eye tattoo. Got it. Halo. Oh, fuck. So stupid. You know what? He's just not a real person. This is always the most ridiculous. Now, he's also singing along with Halo. Yep. Out at the top of his lungs. We have a Beyonce stan in the cage. And yes, if you're wondering if the very pregnant, yes, the very pregnant girlfriend who is clapping, who is also his corner. Yes, that is what's happening. He has 11 wins by knockout, 7 first-round finishes. Also, a near perfect variation of lip syncing for his life to Beyonce's Halo. So you got all those things working for you, Mike Perry. It's just everything else you got to kind of work on. He is part of the Beehive indeed. Yes. Christopher James West also came in with the fucking money and said, yes, and you throw ice cream and cakes as the fighter, the overweight fighter, makes his way to the cage. Shame. Just throw out fucking dessert at him. And it said, at least he's singing. That's fair. Apparently, Mark Ramondi says, Halo wasn't the walkout song Mike Perry wanted, but it was the one he needed right now. So it says, interesting that we get a reference to Mike Perry's distractions outside the cage, but no specifics at all about what they are. So that's definitely an intentional choice. So yes, that would allude to his domestic abuse violations to the point of which his own mom called 911 against him. So yes, in response to Ben Folks, that is exactly what they are intentionally choosing not to reference, because there's not really a winning hand in mentioning that one. That's why Mike Perry is just a mess, and yet super popular. Them Days said, God, I love this sport. And Shango Dixon says, Mike said, what the fuck? Wrong song. I mean, dude, what the fuck do you expect? He was still singing along with Halo, or was he singing a different song? You guys have to tell me this. I rely on you for this information. But he is part of the Beehive, might be the comment that I pinned to the top of this this broadcast here today. We'll have to see. That's the comment to beat right now. What is up, Everett? Lots of hearts on that one. All right, let's see how this disaster goes here, kids. God, this is fucking ridiculous. Platinum Mike Perry taking on Dirty Bird Tim Means. I mean, this is going to be a weird-ass fight. Don't you get that feel right now? Mike Perry with the camo, a.k.a. Green. What's up, Sean C. Riley? Big fan of your brother John. Tim Means already starting to move evasively, nicely. Oof. Nice jab there that just Perry eats. Doesn't even give a shit. Perry's just trying to engage very quickly. Has him pressed against the cage. We will see him go for a trip here using every bit of those extra 5 pounds as the Dirty Bird locks in a guard right now. And just look at the positioning of that lock guard. It does seem at the very beginning like he was trying to get it to one section. Mike Perry slamming his way out of it. Dirty Bird trying to maybe make this into a sweep, going for maybe an omoplata for a split second. Mike Perry working very aggressively for a pass. Dirty Bird trying to push his arm back to try and repummel his legs. Perry doing a pretty good job here of, well, shit, he's on the back now. Eek, this is not great. This is already working toward a rear naked choke on Tim Means here. He has one hook in. Second hook there. So, yeah, I think Tim Means is very, as Joe Rogan is alluding to, just surprised this is happening. And Tim should maybe be doing a better job of fighting that 2-on-1 grip. There's no reason he should be this comfortable here. Mike Perry actually has a body lock in this, so he does have a body triangle here. He loses it. Tim Means now starting to show a little bit of the defense from that position, punching his way out of it. But that is not exactly where you are going to get the bulk of your escape, especially when one of your outs of this is pushed up against the fence. So you do have the ability to turn into him. He just kind of needs to make the choice. You have to raise the hips a little bit and just turn into him, but not allow him to have this choke. It is over. And if anything, it does look like Mike Perry's just going to try and goon this shit. And you are seeing a lot more of a reactive Tim Means. Jesus Christ, man. Tim Means is in a bad spot here. Mike Perry, very, very much on the squeeze. We are not getting a full aspect as to how this is going. The camera's at a terrible angle, but the referee was very much on top of it. Now you are seeing Mike Perry start to position again. He lost the choke, but he still has the back control here. This is going to be a huge opportunity if Tim Means can get his back to the mat and turn back into him, which he does. Now he is in a prime position to start bringing his elbows in. And if you know Tim Means, you know his elbows are quite impressive here. But Mike Perry does shake him off pretty well. Tim Means now gets an opportunity to start back up top. Well, it's been a very solid round for Mike Perry thus far. And now with the ability to maybe start putting in some punches of his own, you're going to see a better Tim Means, hopefully, coming out of this. Mike Perry says, then Dame says, let it rip, Timmy. I mean, those were some bad spots that I did not expect to see Mike Perry have that good of control off of the back right there. But now Perry, yeah, I think Joe is alluding to it. He might be worn out a little bit. There's 70 seconds left to go in the first round, and you are seeing maybe a little bit stronger showing from Means. Mike Perry swatting him away. I guess the important thing is I think we do want to go to a second round just so that we can hear Mike Perry talking to his corner, a.k.a. his girlfriend, who is pregnant. Nice shot to the gut there by one Mike Perry. And Tim Means responds, almost gets a knee up, but he's staying just well enough outside of the range of one Mike Perry. And DC is saying when you're the shorter fighter, you got to be the one going forward. That sounds like DC talking about his own experience being one of the shorter big boys in the heavy division. Oof. Now you're seeing Tim feel a little bit more loose. Nice check there by Mike Perry. What is up, Jay Grideau? I mean, he's been solid with all of his jabs thus far in. I would have to agree with that in terms of DC. And it does look like Mike Perry had a little bit of confusion as to where he needed to go at the end of that round. All right, guys, how do you have that score? Do you have that one for Mike Perry, or do you have it for Tim Means? I'll take your comments in our comment section. Eek, what a fucking weird-ass fight. We said it was going to be weird. We knew it was going to be weird. And yet, lo and behold, here we are. And, you know, no quarter from Mike Perry. It's a shame that you don't see Darren Till there. It did look like Mike Perry had opened up an opportunity. I see a 10-9 for Means. Interesting. I see Christopher James Velez going for Means as well. I think it's probably because you guys don't feel he did anything with the back control there. Huh. I would tell you this, though. Looking at how this is playing out, you got to feel maybe a little bit more momentum going towards Tim Means. It'll be very interesting to see how Mike Perry comes out of this second round. Probably, usually his best showings in all of his fights are just right off the top of the rounds. It says output, aggression, all that. Join us, fam, for some UFC 255 coverage. Be live. Fam. I think I heard Mike Perry's girl scream out. Not really sure what she was screaming out, but yes, Darren Till was trying to actually buy a spot because Mike Perry was putting up almost at auction a chance to corner. The UFC heard that and said, no, you're not. But if you're not going to pay these people very much money, it's actually a cost-saving maneuver that ends up being profitable if you're able to do that. So, unfortunately, the UFC has to ruin all of our fun. So that is what we are dealing with this evening. It says, who's winning? Well, we have a mixed opinion here. Uncle Fluff, which, by the way, is a name. It does appear that most people think that Tim Means is ahead It should be noted, though, that Mike Perry did have back control for about a minute and a half of that fight in that first round, and was getting some of the better parts of the exchange earlier in the round. However, Tim Means was able to rally and make it a lot more of a competitive fight in the second half of that first round. We are now not even at the midsection of the second, but you are seeing a little bit more pieced up Mike Perry. So in response to your question, it's complicated. But if you ask our comment section, they seem to be very, very much in terms of favoring the output of one Tim Means. Ooh, those look pretty mean by Mike Perry right there. Shot to the gut and then a response. Tim Means now, though, is ahead on head strikes, 35-11. So you are seeing him win those exchanges, and that would explain why Mike Perry is looking a little cut up in the face. You are hearing heavy breathing, and you can only imagine that is coming from the guy who came in 5 pounds heavier. Ooh, Mike Perry does connect on Tim Means, and it looks like he wants to try and get a takedown here, which might give Tim Means just a split second to recover as he reverses the position. He has at least one underhook, and he's going to have to give it up. Mike Perry's looking to connect here, but he doesn't. He actually holds off for a split second. Very interesting tactical approach there. That's not somebody you want to let back into the fight, but Mike Perry almost lets his guard down ever so slightly just to let those elbows start to come in. The elbows, again, a huge weapon from Tim Means. 146 left in the second round. Mike Perry probably starting to go into his crazier bin right now. We're going to talk about consistency as being a very helpful element to what Tim Means is doing. That's why you see Mike Perry pieced up a little bit more. The hard part is you just always look at the power of Mike Perry and you say, fuck, dude. Yeah, you can't really let this guy connect with you. That's how he has those very dangerous highlight reel finishes that we do see. Uncle Fluff asks, is Perry's corner doing anything, babe? Oh, I was asking my wife if Mike Perry's corner is doing anything. So are you hearing her give any constructive coaching? Oh, she's still singing Halo. Okay, well, that's going on. It's a good joke. I guess the short of the answer is Uncle Fluff. No, not really. Gustavo, good to see you, bro. On this round, you are seeing 26-37 to 12-20 for Perry. So the significant strikes are very much in favor of the Dirty Bird. Joe Rogan marveling at the differences of approaches. That is putting it nicely. You're asking me if I've got Figueiredo or Perez. Well, Perez is a friend of the show, so I'd hate to root against them, but you know, he's got a tough night ahead of him, man. Go to a third round. Interesting second round. I'm going to guess y'all feel that is one Tim Means' round. If you feel any different, I will entertain it, though I do not think you have a strong argument. Bully B coming in saying Means is striking, looking crisp. I would agree. Yep. This is a fucking weird fight. We knew it would be. You are seeing Mike Perry take some deep breaths in. I think on this one, Mike Perry absorbed 50 headshots, 14 body shots, and 6 leg strikes. Matt Viper says another close one. Perry's leg kicks are scary. That's just part of it, bro. All of him is scary. He hits very hard. It says, who is your favorite commentator? I mean, Joe's probably the best. We lived in the golden era of Joe and Goldie. It's kind of the gold standard. You know, I know he gets shit for it, but Dominic Cruz can tend to be very, very accurate on what he is that he's describing in real time, which is very difficult to do live. Those are the main ones. Everybody else kind of falls into a regular category. That's just me. James Velez coming in with means to that Dan jab, and it says, I want to know what the accuracy is on his jab. Great question there. Mike Perry, eek, getting a good body lock there. And we have a split in terms of what I'm seeing on the Twitter comments that they're putting up there. It seems like they're saying they're tied at 1 round apiece. And on that one, it almost looked like Means fucking slapped him in the face. Ooh, Means getting a nice work in from the clinch. I like Felder. He's okay. DC. Anik combo. No. Felder's good. DC sounds like your dad's best friend that nobody really wanted to come over and talk about the fights, but he always talks about how good he was at wrestling in high school. And Anik's a robot, but I don't dislike him. He does a pretty decent job. It's just, not my jam, but yeah, they're serviceable. It says, how are all these Twitter comments you're saying tied? Listen, they're the ones that are putting it up on the UFC. It could be trying to lead the conversation to make you feel a certain way. What's up, Chris? I see you're competing very soon, sir. Good for you. $3:10 left to go in this last round. Kalma, Chael. Chael's good at the desk, which is what I think DC is good at. Put DC at the desk, he's fine. Put DC on live commentary, every other sentence out of him sounds like, oh boy, oh God, oh, this sounds so good. Oh man, this guy, like, it sounds really awkward in terms of isolating. You just take him out of the equation. You go, this, we could do without him, honestly. But you give him a telestrator and you give him time to work from a desk, it's great. I think he's phenomenal there. Now we're getting into a very, very ugly fight. And look at this. Perry, there's not much difference to what he's doing there, but they're just literally standing and just seeing who will drop first. And Tim Means very wisely trying to pick at Mike Perry, but instead reads it as, listen, if I can't get this takedown, I need you pushed against the cage because I don't want to take more of these strikes just straight up. I have to be tactical with what I'm doing here, and I cannot let somebody with power just have a puncher's chance back into this. Matt Viper chiming in and saying, here we go. Absolutely. Like, you said Bisping? No, not at all. Bisping's gotten better, but nah, I still don't love what he does. I think that him on the Dana White Contender Series isn't bad, but half the time when Bisping is trying to make a point, it just doesn't happen. Actually, his point happens after the round. So, Uncle Fluff, I think if Perry wins and tells everyone that Till is the baby's father, now that would sell. Well, it's not a bad comment. I don't know what it is. Mike Perry is just a fucking weird enigma in our fucking sport, man. Oh, and Kalma, I noticed that you said Bisping, which is the way that GSP pronounces his name. Sure. Oof. Perry fighting, knowing that he is probably behind here, and yet still power in those hands. Nice elbow there by the Dirty Bird. And it looks like Mike Perry is inviting a shootout here, which, again, not the best of choices for Tim Means. I don't think he wants to get involved in a shootout. He needs to make this a fucking smarter fight for a guy who just wants to span and goon bang with him right there. Ugh, yes, there we go. Strike and move, my friend. That is going to be your strategy to win this one, Tim. Oof. Tim digging in deep, man. I can tell those shots do not feel good to absorb, but he is doing it super well. Look at that. They're talking about how Tim Means looks outstanding for having approximately 23 showings in the UFC. And yes, he does not want to let this go just with a couple seconds left. Bro, Eek. And they shake hands. Eek. Well, it happened. And there's respect shown between the fighters. Yeah, let's look at some of those highlights. Whatever the fuck we're seeing there, man. Eek. I would assume Tim Means does win that. But I also know UFC fight judges be cray. So I'm reserving a little bit of wiggle room on that one. But there's a lot to go back and watch on the tape on this one, just in terms of a difference of styles and how you can kind of arrange that mid-fight and how sometimes you don't really want to stay in the line of sight for somebody who is a fighter. It says Means should be unanimous. We'll see. It says I stay cray. LOL. So it would seem. All right, here's your official decision. Look at this. Mike Perry is defeated via unanimous decision, 30-27, 29-28, and 29-28. So Tim Means gets the majority of the judges who all see it go his way, man. Good for him, man. That's a huge win in the Tim Means career. The Dirty Bird picking up a win. Good on him, man. Let's talk a little bit about this. I think that he is going to pick up some great momentum off of that, but I want to give you an idea of where Tim Means was just a little while ago. He had a loss to Daniel Rodriguez. He was guillotine choked by him there. That was a rough one. D-Rod, a friend of the show as well. He had a loss to Nico Price, a loss to Sergio Morales, a loss to Bilal Muhammad. His wins as of recent come as follows: Loreno Strapoli, Thiago Alves, Ricky Rainey, and Alex Garcia. Looking at all of those things, you're just saying to yourself, the man has a number of very, very, very storied fights within the UFC. What's up, Tellus? He's had some ups. He's had some downs. He's even been able to beat Diego Lima, who's been making a huge career out of his Bellator and now makes a return over to the UFC. But look at that, 127-73 there. And ground control time, he had 6 seconds to Mike Perry's 2 minutes and 10 seconds. But if you look at it, just the output of one Tim Means, it's a very impressive showing. I think this has to be one of his biggest wins. But looking at that, I mean, dude, he dates all the way back with the UFC back to February 2012. Let's hear what he has to say in what will be a very, I'm sure, all over the place emotional win. It says, what round does the next fight end in? Good question. We'll come to that after this interview. And it says, who's next? We're at the co-main next, Tim. Tim Means says he did his best to try and hurt him. And Joe's now asking about, hey, listen, talk us through when he took your back. What was happening there? And he said, hey, listen, I knew when he had my back, I didn't have to get into a crazy hurry to get out of it. I knew he wouldn't be able to finish there. Now Joe's asking, how frustrating was it that he missed weight? Tim Means says it wasn't that frustrating because he gave me $30,000 of his money. And he said, yeah, I could see him a few days out last week, aka eating cheeseburgers and shit. So yeah, it only makes sense. He was going to be doing it and he wasn't respecting me. And Tim Means says he definitely got his attention, man. Which we just said, Joe. And Joe's asking, what keeps you motivated, man? Tim Means shooting a shot and saying, hey, man, put me on your podcast. It might mean something then. And he's talking about the importance of getting custody of his kids as a single father. Oh no! Well, he definitely put in a lot of work there, kids. All right. For a split second, I saw the rip of the glove, and I just thought, oh no, is he going to retire here? Because that was not the way to do that. But it looks like we will see him probably again. Well, good. I hope that he gets a nice victory lap and a good opponent after a performance like that going forward as well. Because, hell, man, boof. If anybody deserves it, it's that guy. So, very happy to see. All right. So, earlier we were asked, what round does the next fight end in? That one's tough because we are at the co-main, which means we need to be able to put that up as it is a title fight, which means it could potentially go 5 rounds. The question is, with Valentina Shevchenko, will it? I'm willing to say on this one, it does not go all 5 rounds. Do I know that to be fact? Well, no, I don't. But what I can tell you is, if you look at Shevchenko's record, Liz Carmouche took her to a 5-rounder, as did Joanna, as did Amanda Nunes, as did Holly Holm. And you look at some of these fights and you say, yeah, they do go the distance there. Are we going to see that here tonight with Jennifer Maia? I don't know. I don't know that I see anything too different from that one. So I will return that back to our comment section. So do you guys see this fight ending in a particular round? If so, let us know. I got to catch up on some more cheerses before we start running out of time here, fam. But I will make sure we do it accordingly. All right, we had one for Jordan Jitsu. I see another one for Adam Woods. Okay, Adam, this cheers goes on out to you guys. So I would tell you the person who probably sent that text to Tim Means was probably Adam Woods. Adam Woods is probably like, yo, have you seen all this shit that like Mike Perry is eating right now, man? It's not good, dude. Like he should really be taking you seriously. And Tim Means is like, what? What a fucking bitch. So that's where we go. December 19th. Look at those prelims. Very excited for Bilal Muhammad and Diego Lima. We were just talking about him a second ago. Lots of folks fighting on that one. Chaos Williams making a return again versus Michel Pereira, who's crazy exciting to watch. And that one's going to be, I think, the last UFC fight of the year, December 19th. So keep a lookout for that one. All right. We were already asked and responded to who's next. Very excited about that. Shout out to the vets on happening there. Let's do a couple more of these shares to say thank you to everybody who is tuning in with us. We're having a good time, and I hope that you guys are enjoying yourselves. If you like what we do here, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is go follow us, man. Go give us a follow, a like, a share at Grappling Hour on all of the major platforms, and also at Verbal Tapcast. Makes a difference. And if you'd be so kind, give us a nice review on our Apple Podcast page. 5-star reviews do make a difference. It gets us new audience members. It expands our reach. I know it doesn't mean much to you, but if you literally take about 2 minutes to go over there, it means the world to us. All right. Let's beg to ask the question to the people who are tuning in right now. Who do you have winning this fight? I will put this in the comment section. Chime in with who you have, and we will include them in our conversation. But here we go. Valentina Shevchenko, Jennifer Maia. That's right. The Mike Tyson fight is coming up. I forgot all about that. That's happening in a week's time. And it says, It says, good God, UFC, we paid you for this event. And you're going to make us sit through an extended promo for a damn fight night event 2 hours in? You just don't respect our time, do you? Thank you, Ben, folks, for always putting it so eloquently. CS Mark Ratner is going into the UFC Hall of Fame. That is what's happening right now. That is the promotional aspect. Look at that. When George Clooney showed up to fights. Cool. Waiting for you guys to tell us who you have on this fight. Would love to see it. And I'm going to go and give this a quick share on the Verbal Tap cast page while we wait. Putting it in there. God, Goldberg, we miss you, bud. Let's put it here. Who y'all got for the main and co-main event? And tune in and watch with us. Bam. Shared. It's going to be a long promo time. Duty Calls just chimes in and says, boring. Uh-oh. Are you talking about the show or your picture? I mean, look at it, dude. You don't look very happy in that photo. Also, we should probably talk about your screen name, too. It's pretty boring as well. All right. All right, guys. Tell me who you got in the next fight. We'll put it back up on the banner. We were talking about if you guys are seeing Valentina Shevchenko or Jennifer Maia take it. We were also asked at what point do you see this fight stopping, assuming there is a stoppage, considering that Valentina Shevchenko is usually somebody who brings fights to decisions. It just happens. Love it. Thank you, Kama. Appreciate you having our back. You're always the best. Duty, stop it. No, it's too bad of a pun. No, stop saying sistery. I hate that shit. I didn't know we had one of the MMA junkie writers in the comment section here today. So you're saying sistery in round number 5. Okay. So you see a stoppage in round 5. Bold. Bold. Impossible? No. I do want to point this out because I do feel like earlier tonight, Dan had a very amazing moment. And I'll put this screenshot that we had of him just because it fucking, I think this shit made me laugh more than anything tonight. What is up, Mike Gabriel official? What a name. Oh, look at that. Oh, does he go in tonight? Wait, how does this work? Oh, okay. So he's going to be inducted next year. I was like, why is he here now? Sounds like it's a surprise party. They're like, and you're in the UFC Hall of Fame. Congrats. Oh, I hope he doesn't look like he thinks he needs to make a speech right now. He will be going into the contributor wing, which, as we know, there are different wings to be put into for the UFC. That's nice, though. His whole family is there. What a time to be there. But yes, this was what Dan was talking about a little bit earlier tonight. And I think it's a fair question. I'll leave it up to you guys. Hopefully you can see it a little bit bigger in the print here. But Dan had a very apt notification here, which was, what the fuck is going on with Mike Perry? I think that was in reference to, of course, him missing weight. So props to him on that one. All right, Instagram, you need to tell me, who do you have in this one? Do you have Valentina? Do you have Jennifer Maya? Question out to you. What's up, Chris? All right, let's remove that. 8:58, and we have 2 title fights left to go. I mean, I like the fact that we're given some due respect here, but you know, just saying. I see here Valentina round number 3 from Matt Viper. Noted. Flyweight rankings, they're showing Valentina as your champion. Jessica Andrade at the number 1 slot there, and Caitlin at the number 2 slot, with Jennifer Maya at the number 3. So obviously, Caitlin will be watching with vested interest on how this one goes here tonight. She very well could be facing whoever wins, but of course, that's going to depend on what Jessica Andrade is doing. So that's what we got going on our side. Let's give this a couple more shares. And then we're just into the real, you know, easier part of the evening, which is just having fun and watching the end of these fights. I see Tina Chenko in the second. You guys are all over the place here tonight. You have no faith in one Jennifer Maya. Oh, that's very nice. Everybody's timing in with a very nice on Twitter press row for MMA with a very nice Mark Ratner story. And it says, Anik says the induction ceremony, which will also include GSP, will take place next year. So that'll be nice. GSP getting his rightful induction. I think that was supposed to happen earlier this year. We didn't know about Ratner, but we knew GSP was supposed to go in. And they said, let's hold on that until we can have people again. Which, fair. Boof. Like when people are sending me memes that I'm like, I cannot put that one up. I will not put that stupid joke up. All right. Well, we know how this one is shaping up. Is anybody going to take Jennifer Maya here? Nobody? I don't feel I can really convince any of you to do it. So I'm not even going to try on this one. This is still my favorite. It says down to roll. It says, sure, why not? Did I just convince you to take Jennifer Maya? Look at that. Hey, if you guys really want to find training partners to have in your area and you want to stay safe during the spike season, I encourage you to go on over to downtoroll.com. They are a website that tries to keep training pods to 2 or 3 people who all take a vow to just train jiu-jitsu, and that's it. And we very much appreciate them for trying to work around some difficult times for people. We know a lot of people are training around very difficult circumstances, and importantly, it is hard to find people who you want to respect what is going on with COVID. So we appreciate Down to Roll for creating a website where you can find partners in your regions. And it says, spread jits, not COVID. I'm going to tell you this, work on that, you know, that wording. Like, I don't think that's going to sell, you know? But yes, definitely. Like, it's a good first draft. No bad ideas in the brainstorming phase. Christopher James Velez says Valentina. And Maya says 100%. Okay, good for you, man. I mean, it's always hard to root against the jiu-jitsu people here. So it would be nice if we see something happen for the jiu-jitsu folk. But she is walking out to AC/DC's TNT. You can tell by the overpronounced ois as the chorus chant of that song go. Though I'm not going to lie, she does not have the most projected confidence I've seen of somebody walking out. So slightly worried about that one. What's up, Carlos? And Joe Rogan even saying as much. I'm being like, yeah, that's nice and all. But let's be honest, things aren't looking good for her. Ugh. All right. So we only have one person in all the people watching this right now who say they are going for Jennifer Maia. Let me put this comment up here from Kawaka that says, seems like there is a ton of black belts out there. How do you tell if one is better than another? Like, if you see it on a resume, how would you choose one over another? Good question. I would say the first line of reasoning would be, well, where did you train at? Some black belts are difficult to get at different regions. So, you know, when people hear that you train with, say, Atos, they might say, like, oh, I don't know that Galvo would give one out so easily. A second degree is, do they have competition footage? Sometimes that matters to people. Third thing could be very easily, and this is the great part of our sport, you just kind of roll with them. You know, we're not such a protected society where people can't go train with the other people. It's very easy to go to a gym and just say, like, hey, can we train? And most people say, yeah, sure. Christopher James Velez did point out win-loss record. Even that sometimes iffy, dude. I've rolled with a lot of people who have lost at things that are just really like mat savages. And sometimes people who are really good in the gym don't translate to being super good at competition. The same goes for people who are good at competition who are not great teachers. So the MMA and jiu-jitsu math isn't a perfect science. But returning to the question, yeah, I mean, there are ways that you can kind of verify those things. And there are people that have your respect and garner it, that you go, if they say, hey, watch this person roll, you kind of keep an eye on them and you say, like, oh, I bet they're probably pretty good. But there are definitely different levels to black belts. So that is something that I will say. I had a buddy who recently trained with somebody that I knew, and they go, hey, yeah, I trained with that guy. And I go, yeah. And he goes, yeah, he was nice. He was good. And I was like, cool. Did you know he was a black belt? He was like, what? And I go, yeah, that dude's a black belt. He's like, did not feel like it. So not all things are alike. Valentina, though, looking all business right now. Though she still always has one of the best, what is that little Argentine tango sort of thing that she does at the very end of her fights. Beautiful precision that she always does. So good for her. Hopefully, Kalma, that answers your question. All right, you get DC talking about the women's division, and whatever he's saying, I'm sure does not probably mean anything. So we'll just skip that one. But instead, we'll look and see what some people are doing and saying over on our different places that we are showing this right now. You are probably watching it on Verbal Tap on Instagram, and then a number of you are actually tuned in on different channels, meaning our YouTube, our Facebook, and our Periscope, aka our Twitter. We're happy wherever you're tuning in. So let us know where you tend to watch it. I usually see a breakdown at the end, but it is always nice to have you guys joining us as we get through the last couple fights on this card. Many of you all over the place. She has the highest striking accuracy in UFC flyweight history. Interesting. I'm just seeing the ink on her stomach right now, which should be very interesting to see. But here we go. The fight odds are negative 2,000 for Jennifer Maia, which eek. Jessica, I even had better odds than she did on that one. So rough company to be put in. Eek. Look at this. Everybody's sending in these beautifully nice stories, though, about one Mark Ratner. MMA Decision says, when my website was first getting started, Mark Ratner went out of his way to reach out to me and help with missing data. Forever thankful of that gesture. Well-deserved Hall of Fame member. Those are cool. I've heard nothing but good things about the man, so it is kind of cool to see that happening. All right. We are about ready to see this fight finally happen now. It says Holly Holmes was at 14-1. I think you mean Holly Holm. Holly Holmes sounds like a hyena, aka Baby Joker's girlfriend. Be like, no, you know Holly Holmes? Holly Holmes, nah, she's nice, man. She good. Like, she was at the lowrider convention. I met her with my like cousin. Like, we were great, man. Like, I love me some Holly Holmes. So, Valentina won already? Not yet. We're just about to start there, Max. That's Larry Holmes' illegitimate daughter. But yes, I see you all here with Holly Holm, 14-1. Maya is 13-1. Of course, there are always going to be odds to overcome their kids, but still, negative 2,000 is not the way you want to wake up in the morning to see that. All right, Jennifer Maya, let's see what you do here. Babe, my wife is basically saying, in case you didn't hear it, she just knows she's about to get fucked up. You know what? If that's what my wife says, don't sleep on that, because she's watched a lot of fights in her time too. Like, when we do these things, ever since the beginning, even before I had a podcast, she was watching these fights. She can pick up on things sometimes, guys. So we'll see. It says, how much are you winning with negative 2,000? So apparently somebody was putting $12,000 on Valentina Shevchenko for the upside of only winning $600. They're that confident in her. Now think about that. Betting $12,000 so that the return is $12,600. That's insane. So the answer is, if you're betting on Valentina Shevchenko, you need to make, like we have one of our friends who was here earlier. I know we saw him a little bit, but I believe it was Tim744, who has a three-way parlay. He's got one of the Shevchenko sisters, two of the Shevchenko sisters, and also Davison and Figueroa in the main event. If he lands all of those, he will win $2,700. So we are rooting for him. All right, fight begins. Let's see how this goes. Valentina in the black, Maya in the white shorts. Eek. Valentina already landing a very nice overhand left to begin in the fight. All right, we are already in a good spot, though, for Maya. This is good if she's in guard and she could break the posture. Yep, they just put up that note about the $600 he could win. It says, UFC Novembers of the past, Holm beat Rousey, Rose beat Joanna. I don't know why that's a fact they're putting up there, but lo and behold, that's what they're doing. See Maya with doubles on the arms. I think she might be hoping for a sweep here, but with a closed guard, that's really not going to be the case. This actually is a good way to break posture, is to basically make them carry your weight while wrapping an arm around the head. And it says, everyone messes up Figueroa's name. I vote we just called him Frodo. I mean, listen, dude. Here in America, I say the name the way I want to. So, same. Having her in a closed guard is actually probably the best of all outcomes for her. You are seeing her move the body triangle a little bit more over to that hip area, which can be very, very debilitating, but now she returns it back to center. I like the idea of really trying to concentrate with a good body lock around as opposed to a guard. because it does seem to make things a little bit more difficult and suffering for the people who are inside of your guard. But what do I know? Not a black belt like she is. Just saying. I just know that you give Valentina the opportunity to start working from inside that guard. You're going to get some elbows. You're going to get some punches from inside of it from a very game competitor. Oof. Elbow number 1. Yep. 225. Again, making sure the pace is slowed down a lot here. Just trying to break the posture consistently. Maya is. She does look like she wants to open up her guard ever so slightly. But I really think that she just figures like, man, at the very least, I'm not going to absorb too many shots with her by breaking the posture, controlling the wrists, trying to make sure that she can't get too many of these punches off, because that is always the secret of Valentina's success. Well, the commentary team is working and struggling to figure out a way to make this exciting, and instead, it looks like they went entirely off tangent. So this is kind of where we're at now. You are seeing Maya trying to get up a little bit more on the higher guard there. Kevin Seika says Valentina Shevchenko has a handgun tattooed on her waist, and it's only like the third scariest thing about her. Nope, not much different here. And I don't think you're going to see Maya really get a sweep. She keeps trying to heist this mount, or I'm sorry, this guard up a little bit higher. Normally, if you do pull down on the head, you should sometimes be able to get them to like pop up, and in between those two, you can get a good sweep. You can go to like sometimes people go to half, sometimes people immediately use it as a butterfly opportunity to like hook the legs and maybe start working on a sweep here. I don't think she's doing any of that. I think she's perfectly fine just kind of calling this round a mulligan, especially when you got to do 5 rounds against her. And that's where we're at. And here's the good news. She really hasn't taken, that's the kind of guard that I was talking about there, that body lock with putting it around, not trying to waste time, just doing it. This is not a little too late, but it definitely is one that can be very, very uncomfortable around kind of like the stomach area when people really tighten that up. We used to have people who would literally close their guard like that. It's a pain in the ass. All right. Well, this is going to be a waste to try and listen to anything the corners are saying, because we're basically listening to the interpretation of an interpretation. So let's just say that was Valentina's round, right? Like, we're all in agreement. Max, see what I'm so good at my job. I already answered your question before you asked it. So yes, Valentina's round. She has a takedown, spent most of the time in guard, got a couple good strikes. Good enough. Ooh, well, doesn't make you feel great about Jennifer Maya's chances now, especially because the jiu-jitsu was supposed to be the area that she has the advantage on. So if she's not able to get a sweep or kind of disorient her in any way possible, ugh. It says, how much you paid for stream? I paid $64 for this pay-per-view. It is the standard growing rate of the UFC. And Valentina in on the second round, dragging Maya down. This time, Maya working, try and get up. She does succeed in that, but Valentina relentlessly swarming her. But here's some good news. Maya has Valentina pressed up against the cage right now. Good body position. Does not look like she wants to move from here, though. I think she is content just staying right there. Max says, I think it was like $40 4 years ago or something. Yes. I think it has been consistently in the $49 region up until maybe about 2015. Once they got like Ronda Rousey, it went up. And then once they got Conor McGregor, it went up. And Kalma says, at this rate, might not make 5 rounds. We'll see. I mean, the hard part about this is you burn out parts of your arms, so that doesn't feel great. But all things considered, she's not taking a ton of damage when that happens. It's when this happens that she gets out of there, that she'll absorb some knee shots. So it's kind of an interesting, I wouldn't call it a stall tactic, but let's, refer to it as it is. It is essentially a stall tactic. So we'll see. Maya's still continuing to press Shevchenko up against the cage. And Shevchenko does, for her part, look a little stuck here. The question is, when does Valentina say, you know what, I'm done with this shit, and just kind of reverse the position? Because I think that is what we are all figuring what will happen here. Or if Valentina gets a little bit of a break where she can start throwing in an elbow. I don't love these high knees that she's trying to land here, or even these weird swats to the back of her back. Not even the head, just the swat to the back of her back. I think Herb Dean feels like he wants to step in, but on that one he couldn't. Maya gets a trip, starts to work up on top, has a leg that she's trying to pass over. Valentina, Jesus Christ, look at that. That stiff arm is just, it's a thing of beauty, man. That was great. All of Valentina's opponents' goal to survive 5 rounds. I mean, I think so. Also, fighting for 5 rounds is not fun sounding. 25 minutes of doing this with an opponent who has a very good striking ability. This is oddly a smart strategy to have. It's just not a very exciting one to watch. But again, if your whole thing is jiu-jitsu and you realize, oh shit, my guard is not going to do anything, that does take out a significant amount of jiu-jitsu, which will leave you either get a takedown, press them up against the cage, or miraculously pass their guard, of which point you still have to take them down. So the cage work makes sense. I see here, nice takedown from Christopher James Velez. Of course, we have to give due respect to that. Valentina will weirdly not win this round based off of this jiu-jitsu transition work. But Valentina does get to her guard. Now the question is, does Maya take the bait and get some strikes in here like Valentina was doing in the first round? Valentina doing an excellent job. Are we at a triangle right now? Jesus Christ, look at her flexibility. That's awesome. Yeah, 38 seconds left to go in the second round. Maya has to do more with this gift, which is being stuck inside of Shevchenko's guard, because again, I mean, this is all the jiu-jitsu person's game. This is really where you got to excel. Entering tonight, according to Ariel Hawani, Shevchenko had only spent 2 seconds in bottom position in flyweight fights, as per ESPN stats info. Well, she definitely doubled that very quickly. I don't think that's proper English. I see negative 350 now for Shevchenko in the live betting market. Interesting. Matt Viper chimes in and says 1-1 apiece. And Herb Dean gives a nice little talking to Shevchenko over on the side, which maybe he's like, hey, if you want to fight any point now, would love it. Well, we know the game plan for Maya. And if you're Shevchenko's camp, you probably do too. But Shevchenko does look maybe not. I don't think she's tired, but the look on her face does not read of the same thing that we have seen her in previous fights. So we'll see. Hanikel asks, who's winning right now? according to our friends watching the show, it does seem like we are at 1-1 apiece, which sounds crazy, and it is. It's not a super exciting fight thus far in, but we'll see how it goes going into this third round. What's up, Ori Carey? It says, I think 1-1, maybe a momentum shift. We'll have to see. Now we're going to get Valentina back on the feet, and unless she feels a little depleted here, she's still within the realm of championship rounds, which she is used to. We just said round number 3. So there is that Kalma coming in saying 1-1. What is up, Laker fan? 90717. I wonder where you're based out of. Round number 3, 4:42 on my clock left in this round. Here we go. Well, ooh, yeah, Valentina's already looking pretty good on the feet. So this is, again, why I say if you were Jennifer Maia, you needed to make better use out of those first 2 rounds. Being in a guard and then being on top. Those were definitely going to be your 2 best spots against a fighter like Valentina Shevchenko, who has already proved she can get on top if she needs to, too, with some of her takedown defense. And if she is able to get that trip again, I don't know that you see Jennifer Maia really make any successful transitions here without using that jiu-jitsu that she needs. And of course, Shevchenko, smart and wise to it, tries to kind of round her over to the corner, but instead, Jennifer Maia now putting the pressure on her against the cage. We've seen what this has done to Valentina thus far. That's very interesting. Billy Q just wrote, as I said that, interesting UFC 225 or 255 double eye look there. I mean, it's still early. Valentina's trying to figure it out. They separate, and every time they separate, it kind of goes back into her favor. But you have to give Maia credit for being able to come up with a strategy for somebody who has knockout power and who is proven at making fights very difficult. Or as Joe Rogan is saying on the broadcast, Jennifer Maia is just eating those punches, which, true, does not seem fun. And because in this round, Maia was only pressing her up against the cage for about a minute's worth of time, these punches are going to have way more value to the judges' row. Valentina sets up a beautiful attempt at a takedown here with a strike, and now whirls her down to the ground. It says, this commentary is greatly appreciated. Valentina will simply outpoint Maia. Well, right now, she definitely not just outpointed her, but got a takedown, which could be very, very important. She is basically smothering her. And look at this. Maia doing an excellent job of getting back to half guard, but her cross body on top. Shevchenko is making it very difficult with pressure and maybe signaling like she kind of wanted to get a head and arm choke right there. This is where you need to see Jennifer Maia's jiu-jitsu come into play. We've talked about this continuously. I have a quote here that says, how good is Maia? I mean, Shevchenko is basically the second best female fighter out there. Jennifer Maia is nothing to scoff at. Her record is as such. She is a fighter with 18 wins and 6 losses. Her losses include 4 decisions, and very early in her career, she was knocked out and submitted. But you would have to date all the way back to March of 2012 to find those particular losses. So she's proven she can kind of stick around in tough fights. You may have seen her fight Roxanne Modafferi, Alexis Davis, both of which she had wins over. She did lose to Liz Carmouche and Caitlin via decision. And you will see that, yes, she was able to beat Roxanne Modafferi not once, but twice. So she can be good. She is definitely in that realm of being in a tough fight. So it is hard to overlook that part of it when you do know what Valentina is capable of. The issue is Valentina able to get off what she needs to do here? Because you are seeing her get drawn into a fight that Valentina just does not appreciate. And again, while not compelling per se from an audience perspective, sometimes all you need to really pull it off here. And Valentina, I think, is maybe slightly frustrated, but really her version of frustrated looks like, God, I want to punch you in the face. As soon as I get out of this, you just wait. Oh, wait until I punch you good. Eek. Valentina just kind of ekes out a nice little toss there, but nothing to do with it in that moment as we get to the end of a third round. It says it's good to see these older female fighters getting so technically sound in every area. Well, you have to be sound in every area for a number of reasons. I think we continue to see an evolution in every weight class or division, but my God, that reversal there that Valentina did just was beautiful. And it says here the next wave is going to be insane. Of course, man. I mean, even if you look at something like Chuck Liddell, who's an amazing fighter for his time, we see evolution from him, and that continues on. So it's like, listen, dude, you got to probably have some pretty good attacks in your submission game as well. Stuff that you can call upon when you really, really need to. The question that we do see continuously happen, though, is we see a lot of female fighters kind of go through those different realms. You see somebody like Holly Holm who comes over from boxing and then can kind of piece together some really impressive shit as she goes along. They just mentioned she didn't have a stool there. Oh, she didn't want it. Well, okay. Uh-oh. Valentina, no happy. I have a note here from Laker fan that says, I don't believe Valentina has that killer instinct or willingness to go for it. Not overrated by any means, not hating either. Okay. Cody Salmon says, amazing how fast these odds are changing. And Aaron Barster says 29-28 Shevchenko after 3. So we are seeing a little bit, again, of a shift of momentum back Valentina's way. But I think Jennifer Maia is still, she has, if she can implement a strategy, she's in it. But to your point, Laker fan, 90717. I don't know your real name, but I'm just going to call you that for the rest of the show because it just seems funny to continuously do that. I think it's less of a killer instinct as much as it is just like, if you've seen her do what she does well, just the way she gets in there, she can outpoint the fuck out of these people, but in such an embarrassing way. Like, look at those strike differentiums between her and Maia. Maya's greatest success in this fight has been stalling it out. And that was the first strike I've seen from Maia that made it seem like, damn, okay, you're here. And it says, or Rousey and her gaming streaming career. Hey, you know what? Leave Ronda alone, man. She's just trying to live life on a farm. But there was a time when everybody got armbarred by Ronda Rousey, so there's always an evolution. And then she got kicked in the face. Babe, not helping my point. Just reliving it. My wife just, as soon as I said she got kicked in the face, let out a giggle, and I was like, that was fun. But we were invested in it. That's just what happens. But yeah, I mean, hey, listen, if she wants to go make money, go do it. Will I watch those things? Probably not. But will I see her in WWE? Absolutely. She's a great asset there. And she knew how to market and sell a fight. She was one of the first female fighters to go ahead and get any kind of pay-per-view residuals just based off of the way that she would promote the fight. So good on her fight. Valentina now working in half guard on Maia, who looks not in a great position here against the cage. So, we're going to probably be stuck here for a second. That's the unfortunate part about being good at jiu-jitsu is you have to always have the kind of cardio that keeps you safe the entire time, because the minute you let up for just a few seconds, you get somebody like Valentina on top of you, she may not have as good at jiu-jitsu as you do, but she knows how to put pressure and keep it consistent and steady on top. The nice part is Shevchenko is able to kind of even put in some of these shoulder punches from inside the half guard. Eek. Yeah, this is not a great place to be. I don't know if you guys have experience rolling with people who just know how to use their pressure, but it could be very debilitating to the point where it just exhausts you just trying to deal with that consistently for 5 minutes at a time. Valentina now working on the back. It does look like she is one hook in. Maya almost instinctively trying to go to a half guard. Valentina almost, I can't say that she's getting a gift wrap gift there, but that would be a great opportunity to use it. What she is doing, yep, she does have a gift wrap. I was right. Good on her. Could not see the angle, but once I did, I could see the gift wrap there. That gift wrap is a great use in all of jiu-jitsu. What's up, Submissions on the Shore? Good to see you. Hope you're having a great day. What is up, MAOG? We are seeing Valentina Shevchenko just continue to make life not fun for Jennifer Maia, as we are probably looking to go into a fourth round, as Valentina maybe was showing off. Maybe she'd go to a head and arm choke here. And Ariel Helwani, which is the most important of all the voices, says that he has it ahead, I think 3-1 for Valentina Shevchenko. So there is that. I don't think I disagree with him, unfortunately. Valentina is getting her groove back. And Jennifer Maia is probably just like, how many more minutes do I have of this? Like, legitimately. Because here's the hard part about it. Valentina is probably ahead. So Jennifer Maia, by all accounts, has to submit her. I don't see her knocking her out. I don't see a strategy that is necessarily going to bring her into the fold that's going to help her win on points, because that's out the window. So you got to submit her. Easier said than done. Kalma still going out there, putting on and saying, let's see if we can get the finish. You know what? You hold that faith, my friend. It's not impossible. It's not improbable. It's just, no. We're probably looking at a 5-rounder going to decision here, kids. Here we go. And MMA Fighting just concurred with what I just said here, which is, yep, Jennifer Maia needs a finish here. And here we go. Valentina in her element. Here's the good news. Maia looking like she knows she needs to get something done here. Going for a trip. Tripping Valentina here might be very problematic, because Valentina has been able to reverse this position. The only difference is she's normally been a little bit more center of the octagon to make that happen. So at the very least, Maia acting with some urgency is good. But Valentina about to reverse this position and start killing some dreams here. And that's a nice pummel that also comes with a little bit of a head pummel as well. And Valentina, to exclamation mark it, puts a nice overhand right to it. Eek. All right, well, Valentina's mad, everybody. She is unleashing her fury. And Jennifer Maia, for her credit, is trying to counter and return some of these. But Valentina now, oh God, someone hit the fucking nitro button on her. Eek! No! Is starting to swarm Jennifer Maia, who does reverse the position against the cage, as if maybe to just slow her down. Maybe she understands and resigns in her fate here, but at the very least she says, can you slow the fuck down? Like, you're probably gonna win. Could you just let me finish? That's all I'm asking. I don't want to get knocked out here. I don't want to lose. Eek. 3:23 left of this. I want to see what your name is. Oh, Angel is your name. All right, Angel, I see you. All right. I was going to keep calling you Laker fan 9707, whatever. Oh, no, that was so awesome, except it didn't happen. Shit. I mean, listen, dude, pull out all the stops. Literally every jiu-jitsu thing that you think you know, Jennifer Maya, do it. Just fucking throw it all out there. Apparently, Maya's nose might be on the drip. DC is guesstimating that it was from an elbow, though. Ooh, Valentina almost with the trip. Eek. 2:30 left to go here, kids. And you do hear Anik saying it could be a broken nose. Wouldn't bet against it. I can't tell what they're yelling at Jennifer Maya, but I think they're pretty much saying, to some extent, yeah, your nose is probably broken. But, just kind of get out there and see what happens. 2 minutes left. Oh, the part of the job that nobody enjoys. All right. She's a beast. She's probably going to beat you. Now get out there and do your best. I don't want to, man. So earlier, Angel, you were saying you don't think that Valentina has the killer instinct. I don't know. I think if you train with somebody like her and you see them do that, unless you're a certain 1% kind of fighter, you don't do well against that. I think you have somebody who, when they start going into their yelling as they strike mode, aka their Xeno Warrior Princess mode, it's not going to go well for you, man. Unless you're in that family of being a 1%er in MMA, but this is bad news for you. Nice overhand crack by Valentina there. Kalma, you may not get your fight finished, but bless you for thinking it was going to happen. I mean, listen, dude, Valentina just sounds angrier than I think any of us would expect. Maya with a nice return. Good for her. Oh, Valentina. Are you going to make what MMA Junkie refers to as sistery? Probably. 2 sisters winning on the first card. Be pretty epic, so good for them. And Jennifer Maya, listen, dude, we didn't think you'd make it here, but here you are, connecting with Valentina Shevchenko at the very end of the fight. Good for you. Let me see. She had the killer instinct once she has you hurt, or she has it. Maybe that was the wrong choice of words. She seems too happy or okay to win by decision, like tonight will likely end up. It did. Kalma did say good call on the decision. Matt Viper says respect to Maya. Kevin Whitaker, you are just joining us. Thank you so much. I don't know, man. I kind of understand more what you were saying now, but like there's something still very impressive about people who do it this dominantly. Because if that's the case, what are you going to say about Khabib? Khabib has some finishes, but some of them aren't. Some of them are just him being like, hey, man, Ala Quinta, I guess I'll let you live. Kalma says Maya has heart. She does. I mean, that is the exchange of something like this. You don't win. It's something that you probably don't want to even do after round 4. But she definitely came out there in those last 10, 15 seconds. It was a good series of exchanges between the two. It's just Valentina be good at what she do, y'all. That's the nicest way to put it. I'm not even going to ask you guys how you had it scored because I think we know, right? Here's some good news. The dude who showed up a little bit earlier, Tom, or is it Tim? I think it's Tim. Tim 744 got one step closer to winning. I think, what is it, about 12, 13K? Or no, I'm sorry, 1,300, not 13K. If it was 13K, we'd probably pop some champagne. He'd have to send us money. But I'll say 12 or 1,300, nothing to scoff at. So very cool to see for him if he's able to get Figueroa to get the win in this next fight. Let's hear the official result, which is as follows: 49-46 from all three judges, and in favor, of course, of Valentina Shevchenko. No issue there. And Dana White saying, "Get that fucking flag out of my face." So you can put on the championship belt, gives her the world's least enthusiastic pat on the back, like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, good job, I guess. You won that one pretty well. Where's your dance thing? Do the dance thing. God damn it, camera guy. Don't you ruin this fucking dance thing for us. Take the photo. Other angle, please. Kiss. Take it off. Do it. Thank you. God damn, it's all we ever want from her. God damn it, it's so good. Look at her hitting that fucking dance like it's a recital. Beautiful. You earned that, girl. You did it. Says, haven't seen any of the next fighters before. Enlighten me on their fight styles. Oh, I'll do that in a second. Give me some moments. Christopher James Flores says, cool dance moves. That's her thing, man. You better believe, dude, if I won fights, there'd be a fucking whole dance break that would happen. Get the fucking, what is it? You get, what are those kids? The ones that won the American Dance Crew. Who are the ones? I keep getting them. They're not the Jabberwockies. Fuck yeah. It's in Vegas too, so I'd definitely get the Jabberwockies out that way. Is that what you're looking at? All right. Enjoy. Jabberwockies would come out. High choreographed routine. I'd be so out of it. I'd barely hit the moves, but I'd hit them. It'd be a thing. It says Figueroa by second, third round submission. Interesting. It says, I wish I was half as coordinated. Yo, I'll tell you this, dude. After a fight and hitting as many spins as she does, I mean, she's not going to win any dance competitions, but I dare most of those ballet people to come in and do 25 minutes of strike fest fights and then see if they have their ability to keep their pointed toes all the way through. All right. Here's the post-fight interview with one Joe Rogan and Valentina Shevchenko. Let's see what she has to say. Joe Rogan saying, hey, listen, you won against a very tough woman, Jennifer Maya. So see here, Angel, she wanted to go 5 rounds because after a long layoff, she wanted to show she could do it. She says she's happy it went 5 rounds. I think she just said she'd be an easy opponent, right? Okay. She said she knew it would be a good fight for her. Understood. Oh, I respect that. I can't really dislike her, especially when she's saying shit like, you know what? What did I do? I just prepared my body to do a certain thing. That sounds right. Joe Rogan's asking about the details of her injury. Tore ACL. It's not the worst injury that can happen, she says. And now she's telling us about cutting skin, which la 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 la, no thank you. Who knew she was going to be able to give us a nice little science lesson here right now? Joe Rogan's giving some nice respect to the heavy hands that she was able to land. God damn it. Apparently, Bob Sapp, yes, that Bob Sapp, just threw hands at the promoter to close out Fight Circus 2. Amazing. To which Ben Folk said, I chose poorly tonight. I can admit that tonight. Oh, that's so sweet. She just put over her sister and said, honestly, if you're going to give a performance of the night bonus, give it to her. She was perfect. Like, how many people fight in their family? It's like my mom fights, my sister fights. If I have a kid, that kid's going to fight out of the womb. Oh, sisters. Look at them. So happy for each other. That's pretty cool. They made sistery. Let's fucking retire that now. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm so angry with that. Because the worst part is, I haven't seen it yet, but you know the MMA Junkie is going to go again with that. They're doubling down on it. Davison is getting ready. It says, have they been fixing the lighting for Joe Rogan as the fights are going on? I think they did adjust the lighting for the main card because he looks less like Death from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So there's that. Or is that Bogus Journey? Death was in Bogus Journey, right? Yeah, okay. We'll get there. You know, that's the most important factoid that we're going to put here tonight. But yes, I did notice that. I think we did very, very casually reference that earlier in the broadcast, but I like that Burchak just texted me about his fight picks. I was like, that's tomorrow, fam. I'm not doing that right now. Like, Burchak, I love when people do over under Kevin. They send me a message. He didn't do this one, so I'm not going to throw him under the bus. But other previous guests for over under Kevin will text me, even when I'm on air, and go, how are my fight picks doing? And I'm like, bro, I'm not looking at your picks right now. I'm on air. I don't have the ability to do both. I'd like to think I could, but no. It says UFC has probably got a mole in the grappling hour. They probably do, man. You can never tell who's really watching these things because every once in a while they'll say something that I go, that's like really the weird language that we use on our show. It's also when I go listen to other shows and I go, they didn't say that before. Somebody here watches our show. You know, it's a compliment, really, I guess. But it always does surprise me, especially now. I will say this. This week we will be doing our, 8-year anniversary of Verbal Tap. We'll be beginning season 9. Can you guys believe that? We are the longest running BJJ topical series. It's cool. Didn't expect that would be the thing, but here we are. We have outlived them all, and we can plan to continue going, you know? We're still having fun. You guys still seem to enjoy it. We dig that. And it says, side note, best post-fight dance is by RIP. Shit, his name isn't coming to me. Canadian Cat. You have time to think out these words, and you're literally telling us as you're typing it out. Shit, I don't. You couldn't Google it? Canadian cat. Who are we thinking? Congrats, brother. Well, thank you. That's very nice of you. All right.
Sure.
She wants to make an appearance right now. This is our dog. Her name is Lucy. Lucy, say hi to the family. I know, babe. You can tell that we have a real stage mom appearance here because are you tapping this? Are you seeing this? This is fucking hilarious. Jim, I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, Lucy, I gotta take off that banner. I'm sorry. So that way you can better see it. All right, Lucy has a shirt. This is made by our friends over at the Frenchie Place, but look at this one. It says, I still live with my parents. Look at that. Look how pathetic she is. Look at this. Lucy, what do you have to say? Did you like that last fight or did you sleep through it? You slept through it, right? Yeah. Lucy, who do you have in this next fight? Do you think that Alex Perez can pull it off? Nope. Okay, that's not good. Would it change your mind if you knew that Alex Perez was a friend of the show? No? Okay. Well, we've interviewed him on the show. He's a very nice man. Okay. It's dicey. Not good. All right, Lucy. So you think that Davidson Figueroa is kind of the future of the division? You're bored by him too? Damn. You have no love for the little guys. This is a good division right now. They're revitalizing it. All right, Lucy, well, what do you have to say to all of our fans who watch us? Do you have anything to say to our fans who have been watching us for 8 years? No? Yeah, nothing for him? So let me point this out. The reason why Lucy is on is because producer wife Kelly wanted people to see this shirt, which again says, I still live with my parents. It is funny. It is made by our friends at the Frenchie Place, which is a group of people who have all French bulldogs and they get together and it's really fun. It's very cute. Nothing more adorable than seeing, 30, 40 French bulldogs all at one time. So, okay. Dad's going to finish work. We're going to have some snuggle times afterwards. You don't look like you want to go. You're looking at your stage mom very much like, no, I'm good. I can be here. All right. Well, Alex Perez is walking out to Biggie. An appropriate, it was all a dream. So, yeah, I get that. Laker fan says, nice. What up, Lucy? We'll say hi to him. He's over here on this one. You have to learn how to play to 2 cameras. So she's waving at you. Christopher James West says, going for Figgy. Easier to say than that name of his. And he also says, dude, she is adorable. Well, what do you say? You say thank you, Lucy, right? As you'll see, this is what we deal with. She has no time for your BS, Chris. Okay, so your question is Perez good? And that is an earlier question that you did pose, and you said, haven't seen any of the next fighters before. Enlighten me on their fight styles. Alex Perez is a dangerous submission game. Very good at head and arm chokes, which are notoriously difficult to really pull off all of the time. Alex Perez also is a monster. Good wrestling, good base, based out of here in Southern California. He's got, I believe it's the classic Oyama fight team. Dude can really put on a good show. Now, the question is he going to fight a guy that's just your average run-of-the-mill person? Ooh, it's dicey, dude. Here's what I'll tell you about Davison Figueroa. Davison Figueroa is somebody who has dominant wins. And I think what we're looking at is somebody who potentially could be in charge of this division for a very long time. So what you really have to ask yourself with somebody who's got a record of 19 wins and 1 loss, and the only loss is against Juicia Formiga, and that was back in 2019. You got to ask yourself, well, how impressive were those wins to really overlook that 1 loss? The answer, very. Joseph Bermudez, that he just beat twice in a row. The first time was by a TKO, and the second time was by a rear naked choke that looked nasty. That happened earlier in July. It was monstrous, dude. So it's hard to say that, but if you look at the rest of his credits over here, what's happening? You don't want me to finish this fight pick thing? Are you over this shit now? Well, you do see Davison Figueroa now going out to the Mission Impossible theme song. So, yeah, that works. Here's what I'm going to tell you, though. Perez is spectacularly good, especially as Christopher James Velez says. He's really good. His last fight was great. I have a hard time going against Davison on this one, though. I mean, look at this dude. He looks all business, man. Lucy, who are you going for? I can't believe how calm you're being on television right now. Like, you really wanted to be on TV tonight. I thought we were going to give you the night off, but clearly your mom saw something, but I did not see earlier this night. But even the way that you hold the desk now, it shows that you have a lot of growth. I have a note here. Babe, I can't read that right now. Okay, well, thank you. I'm just saying, sometimes when people use the Eddie Dog skateboarding videos, we don't make her do that. You having a good time? You enjoy quality time with Diddy? She says that she enjoys your presence. Like, she's having a blast. Is there something else you want to tell me? No. Okay. Anyway, Davison Formiga, or Figueroa. Listen, dude, I think odds on favorite are for him to win. So, Calma, if that's what you're looking for, hopefully that will give you a more informed decision-making process for tonight. But we're getting set to watch. This one is also a 5-rounder, which means we might be here for a bit. But after the last fight that we saw with Davison, it's impossible we wrap this shit up real quick. But looking at the timeline for him, they were showing what? Back in 2015 or 2014, he was working fast food. 2015, he was blowing out his mom's hair and doing hair like that. And now in 2020, he is a UFC champion. Just goes to show there's a lot of good that can come. Look at that, Manscaped, a shared sponsor with Verbal Tap. That's the thing now. Use the promotional code Verbal Tap to take 20% off of whatever. You looking at me on this one? You got some issue with that? Are you going to fall asleep in my arms like this? Anyway. Well, this will be a first if I really do all the fight analysis like this, because I think in the past I've probably had her hidden on my lap. But I don't think I've actively done a fight companion with the dog. But here we are. Lucy, I need you to pull your weight, though, okay? Alex Perez walking very quickly around. Mark Goodard definitely looking like the emo kid in the corner right now. What? Well, this is the wrong time to post an objection to any of this. What? You are falling asleep here, right? Okay. I think that Lucy has hit her expiration here. It says real life Zohan. Kind of. Lucy, do you want to go to Mama? It says you got to make Lucy a regular part of the shows. Listen, you don't want to ruin the star of the show. And all things considered, she has made regular appearances on the show. Before they were accidental. Then they became what I thought were too frequent. Then she never appeared on the show. Now she's back to being a regular. Look at you. Being all cute and shit. All right. Davison now doing a rising sun action. And it does look like your mom is coming to collect you. You ready? Why are you just staring at her like we're insane for trying to hand you over right now? You have to pick a lane here, Lucy, because your poor mom cannot get a read on if you want to stay on camera or not. All right. Perez looking mean across there, dude. He wants to get this going. I think he's tired of fucking waiting, bro. Davison, though, very calm. Let's hear you guys have. Tell me in the comment section. Go. Oh, look at that. Tim Mean says Mike Perry sent DMs of pizza and onion rings before UFC 255 fight. Eek. I'd like to see that chain, by the way. All right, guys, who do you have? Davison or Alex? You done? I'll let you down if you want to go. No? What is that a woof? Like, yeah, you want to go? Okay. Thank you for joining us. Our daughter, Lucy Esparza, everybody. You can follow her at Lucy the French Bully. That is on Instagram. You could also follow our friends over at the_Frenchie_club meetup. Is that the one? Oh, the Frenchie Place SoCal. Matt Viper says pulling for Perez. Absolutely. Marco Martinez coming in saying Timo Yama all the way. Look at that. Feeling it. Real life Zoe. I think Lucy's actually going. Is she trying to go to the bathroom now? Well, of course, our friends in Orange County are going to be pulling for the OC guy in one. Alex Perez, hoping the best for our friend of the show. Again, a very nice gentleman, beautiful interview. Yep, she definitely went to go pee on her pad. So she was done on this one. But here we go. First beginning moments of the fight. I've got 4:39 on my clock. Hopefully you are somewhere in the same range. Davison kind of feeling him out. And Alex is kind of moving his hands about. He wants to go very quickly in terms of getting on the inside here. I think he wants to try and catch Davison by surprise. Just think about what an incredible moment this would be if Perez is able to pull this off. Almost gets a hook there for a second, looks at his eye. Mark Goodard was trying to get a good read on if there was something wrong with it. Oof. Davison very calm and composed here, very much inviting this exchange that is happening between these two gents. Oof. Alex Perez wants to get this takedown close to it. Davison, good balance, finds himself up against the cage. Now, this is really where I feel like Alex Perez does some of his best work. Frankie Fez, welcome to the viewing party that we are having right now. Ooh, Davison coming in for a fucking... No, you're not. Get the fuck out of here, bro. And Alex Perez trains too much with the 10th P, and Davison is in on a guillotine here. That is not looking good for one Alex Perez, who is trying to fight out of it. I think he's going to be able to pop out of it, but Davison making it very compelling. He does get the tap there, dude. Man. Wow. Davison picking him up. I think he wants to hoist him up. Alex does not want to cooperate on that, and understandably so. Man, okay. Here's what I want to say about that. Alex was close to being out. The difference between him being out and being stuck in that position was just the way in which Davison adjusted. You have to go back and watch the way that when Alex Perez was starting to get to his knees and starting to stand back up, just go back and watch. And this is all based off of a beautiful leg trip that then turns into a reap, an attempt at a leg lock. Alex easily sidesteps it, goes to try and take the back, leaves his neck out a little bit too much. He has time to adjust here. The only problem is this is a tight squeeze. Now look, right here when Alex is maybe starting to posture out of it, Davison keeps the pressure on and doesn't lose contact for a split second. Wow, that was impressive. We do have to do a cheers for him. And Christopher James Velez says that was a great exchange. It really was. What is up, John? Laker fan says, I knew it, just not this quick. Honestly, from the form that we were seeing from Alex Perez, I think he just kind of approached it with the mentality of, if I'm going to win, I'm going to win. If I'm going to lose, then either of them are going to happen quickly. Just look at the pace that he was trying to set there. He was trying to put it on him, and Davison is just a different caliber of beast right now, man. I know we were saying a little bit earlier, it looks like he could lead this division for a good while with a performance like that over a very game competitor. We might be in for a very dominant champ. Kalma comes in and says, wow, Figgy coming with the guillotine. And Nick Claiborne saying scary. Yeah. Dude, just looking at that head, I just felt like he was so close. If maybe trying to, instead fighting that 2-on-1, we was trying to get up, if he could have just been pressing on the head and the shoulder to maybe just squeeze it out just a little bit more. But look at the way that Davison was able to keep it underneath that chin again. Woo! I have no idea what Davison just yelled at us right now about, but good on him, man. Look at this. I don't hate this as a flex, but it is odd. So there is that. Wow. Well, we've got some business to attend to here. We'll get to that in a second. But we do have to say great job to Davison Figueroa. Davison Figueroa is definitely somebody who is a beast. He's got all of his homies who come in perfect formation around him, which was pretty good. They shaped that one up quite nicely. You don't see too many of these photos get put together that quickly. Yo, commission dude, give them a second, man. Let them get their selfie on, dude. All right, Davison, you got to get over to press row to get your interview with Joe Rogan. We'll give him a toast in just a second here. But man, that was rough to see, dude. Eek. Good kick by Perez. Davison not really affected by it. Davison responds with his own leg kick. I mean, the wrestling here was really impressive by Perez, but the understanding of position to reap, trying to attack the leg here, which I think he wasn't even figuring would be his end position. But look how close his head was out, man. And I think it's just because of the way the arms started draping on it, dude. Just the way how he kept the arms too far based out. It is very difficult to get out of that position when that guillotine is that dead set on you. But you really do have to fight those hands. And then when you're carrying somebody's full weight on you, you do know you start to go out. So that's tough to watch. Well, let's hear what he has to say. Joe Rogan already paying tribute, saying you won in spectacular fashion. Good news, everybody. The UFC has not figured out how to do this post-interview with him. Oh, God. So we just discovered they don't really need that dude. And he has a hat that says UFC champion. Interesting. I wonder if they sell those. We'll get a translation of what he's saying here. I love Waleed. He said, I promised my master I was going to be able to do this. I said, this is how it's going to happen. And that is exactly what happened there. Joe Rogan saying you started off in the southpaw stance. What's up, Elias?
Mas eu sou cara bem inteligente, eu sabia que ele ia fazer isso. E eu vim pra quebrar o jogo dele. Comecei chutando ali com a perna esquerda. E ele não esperava que chutasse, ele nunca me viu chutando em luta. Então eu mostrei pra ele que eu sou cara completo. E eu tô aqui pra desafiar o Breno Moreno. Breno Moreno, você quer lutar comigo em dezembro?
Well, this is going to be a long translation here, kids.
Então eu tô aqui à sua disposição, meu irmão. Vamos lá, Dana. Faz acontecer essa luta.
Yep, still speaking. That's exactly right. That's exactly what we're doing. And I know that he's kicked in previous fights, but I knew I could also kick him. Oh, so I think he's saying he wants to fight Brandon Moreno. Ben Folks chiming in and saying, I'll never forget what Figgy did for us here. Ending this quickly so we can get to bed at a decent hour. Got a nice little Sunday class. Got to get some rest. Absolute hero. Yeah. So Joe's saying you did a really good job on this transition here. He thinks it's one of the most impressive that he's seen. Yeah, that arm being trapped was tough business. The hard part is once you give up trying to fight that guillotining arm, you're in. You're done, dude. Elias Flores says, stream fights off your glasses, though. Oh, Elias, I didn't know you were that poor. No, that's not going to happen. What kind of glasses do you think I have, fam? Chance Snyder says, Cody is already live on IG talking papas.
Position of my ABC, I started training in that position when he knew that he was supposed to challenge this position. That was the biggest mistake that he could do, and that was the biggest mistake that I'm making.
He's like, dude, that's my money position, man.
He knew it was going to happen, and that's it.
Well, he knew it was going to happen, and that's it. He went into the worst position possible to go in for me. Do you really think Cody deserves a title shot immediately? I mean, listen, dude, we heard the man speak, and he said he wanted to fight Brandon Moreno, dude. That's, of course, if I was Cody, I'd try to go out there and say that I deserve a shot. I don't know that he does. Lots of flexing and end of interview. All right. Kanye is my pops. Welcome. You're joining us just as we are seeing the end result. Look at that. Max says, I won $2,200. Good for you, dude. Well, we love when we see those things happen. It makes us happy here. All right. Well, let's talk a few things through before we call this a night, first and foremost. If you guys enjoy us, go give some love to our sponsors. That is NoGiBJJGear.com. Use the promotional code GRAPPLINGHOUR15. Save 15% off of whatever you put in your cart. Plus, give some love to our friends over at DodgyCollective.com. They have some amazing rash guards, spats, shorts, you name it. It's good. They've got some really, really good gear that is going out of stock. Quickly take advantage of that. Let's also shout out Manscaped. Look at this shit. They sponsored the UFC. They're good enough for us too, so that you can get products like ball toner, because sometimes you look at them and you say, you know what, you need more tone. Use the promotional code verbal tap to take 20% off of whatever you put in your cart there. See, getting up there, kids. We're trying to save you more money, especially as the holidays are coming up. What better gift is there than the gift of ball toner in the stocking? That's a thing, right? All right. Let's also say, hey, listen, tomorrow we're going to record another installment of Verbal Tap. We'll have Anthony Burchak show back up, find out how he did against Kevin's UFC 255 picks. Plus, we'll also be looking to see who won tonight's raffle that we do on the UFC fight picks as well. Shout out to our friend Dan Hubler. Shout out to all of you for watching. If you wouldn't mind giving us follows at Verbal Tapcast and at Grappling Hour, and that is on all major social media platforms. We're talking YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, you name it. Go to all of them, as well as Instagram. We always love and appreciate you guys. And if you wouldn't mind, do us a solid. Go to Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review for both the Verbal Tap podcast and for Grappling Hour. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but listen, we've been doing this for a while. So you guys can give us a nice 5-star review for Verbal Tap. It's a nice way of saying, hey, listen, we like that you guys have been doing this for 8 years. Or you can go on over to at Grappling Hour to give us some love and respect, because we're always continuing to put out new content there. And we should have a new episode coming out, I believe, on Tuesday at 1 p.m. for Grappling Hour. I think that's it. Tomorrow, we may check in and do a quick little thing, or not. We might see what's going on. But there's the Ultimate Mat Warriors, our good friends over in San Diego. You know, we always love checking in with those guys. So it's very possible that we'll do a little fight companion for them, because we love Boogie. We love those guys. And they've got a hell of a card if you have not seen that. If we do end up doing that, that'll start at 3 p.m. Best Coast time. Tune in, tell a friend, grab a beer, join along with us. It's going to be a good time. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for us here. Thank you very much, Laker fan. I appreciate you. And it says, who wins if Triple C comes back and fights Figueiredo? It's going to be Davison. I see him being a little bit more of a problem for Cejudo. The only problem is Cejudo has super good wrestling, but you just saw what happened to a wrestler base in that fight. And one thing that we haven't really seen Cejudo have to contend with is somebody who's able to go and switch very quickly from leg attacks, from even like heel hooks and ankle locks, to going straight into a guillotine. That transition is going to be fucking money forever. So I have all the respect in the world for that man, and we'll see what he's able to do. Let's hope it's a nice run. It'd be nice and fun to have a dominant champion back again. All right, guys. Got major love for you. I'm going to shut this thing down. We'll see you probably tomorrow, 3 p.m. Have a great rest of your night. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats eventually.